50 years ago, the type of vehicle designed for off-road motorcycling as we know it now didn't exist. Enter John Penton, a pioneer determined to find the right machine to tackle the toughest terrain imaginable. He became the first importer of a lightweight off-road focused motorcycle, one that would eventually be known as KTM. But in those days, Pentons, as they were called, were the dominant machines in the woods, and they found a perfect home, especially in the mid-1970s, when enterprising racing promoter Dave Coons decided to build the toughest race in America, the Blackwater 100. Leading riders through 100 miles of swamps, bogs, boulders, and hill climbs through the mountains of West Virginia, the Blackwater 100 spawned an entire racing series. And the rugged, lightweight motorcycles and ATVs that evolved with it spawned an entire part of an industry. Today we celebrate the history as the John Penton GNCC roars into Ohio. Rugged machines and rugged racers battling for victory. It's a quest began by John Penton so many decades ago, and one that continues today. RacerTV is next.
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Welcome to the Wiseco John Penton, here for round number 7 of the Amsoil GNCC Racing Series. Wow, what a race we're coming off of. Walker Fowler running out of fuel right at the finish line, and Jared McClure coming in, capturing his first win of the season. We've seen several winners out there this year. Could this be the one where Chris Borich captures a win, or will hometown favorite Bryson Neal capture his second win of the year? From there, we've got the XC2. Hunter Hart coming back with a strong, convincing win in the XC2 class, and now has the lead in this 2018 season. Who is going to step up and battle him for that top spot? We saw some great things out of Austin Abney, and welcome back to Jay Shadron, taking second place in the XC2. Well, the stage is set. I am excited. I know you guys at home are stoked. Let's get this thing going. But first, a track description with Jared Bolton.
Thanks, guys. Well, we return once again to the John Penton GNCC. There's a reason we keep coming back here for 29 years now, and that's because this is a phenomenal facility to host a race. It's got a little bit of something for everyone. There's some fast field sections, there's some really tight woods, there's some fast woods, and there's even motocross. We tamed down the motocross track a little bit this year, not doing anything too crazy. We're making up for it. Saturday, we've got a 12.1 mile course. It's got a little bit of everything. There's some really tight stuff that'll kind of give some of those guys that like the tighter stuff an advantage to get up front and run with those guys. And then, of course, it opens back up into some more open stuff. When you come back over this other side, you're over here on the traditional trails that we see here at Sunday Creek. It's a lot of fun. I think everybody's going to enjoy it, and we're in for some great racing. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Jared. Now we know what to expect from today's John Penton GNCC. Let's get down to it. We'll take it to Rodney Tomlin down on the start line.
WFR GBC Fly Racing Yamaha Factory Back Machine, Walker Fowler. Rolling to the line second today, second in points from Bidwell, Ohio. We know him and love him as the Bidwell Bullet on a B. Neal Motorsports, CST Tires, Hauser Racing Yamaha, Racer Neal. Rolling to the line next, he is third in points and fresh off the win at the X Factor just 2 weeks ago. From Casca, Pennsylvania on a JMR ATVRiders.com Maxxis-backed Honda, Jared McClure. Rolling to the line fourth in points today, the winningest GNCC racer of all times. From Sunbury, Pennsylvania, looking to make win number 74 here today. On a Maxxis Fly Racing Yule Cycle Barn back Suzuki, Chris Borich. It all began here just nearly a decade and a half ago when his name became on the marks and history books of GNCC racing. Today, the 521 from Waverly, West Virginia is one of our top pros on a CST Tires, Moose Racing, Parts Unlimited, Induction Solutions, Honda, Adam Mcgill. Rolling to the line next, he is sixth in points after 6 rounds of racing. From Edinburgh, Pennsylvania on an Ampro Yamaha backed by Gear Alloy and GBC Tires, the Coal Trade, Cole Richardson. Too ill to make it to the line 2 weeks ago. He's back with a vengeance today. From Windsor, New York, a rookie on an MR Unlimited GBC Tires RJR Honda, Devin Feehan. Rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the number 8 from Richford, New York on a Spider Graphics GBC Motorsports Moose Racing Honda, the Richford Rocket, Marty Christofferson. Rolling to the line next, he is 9th in points aboard the 741. From Myersville, Maryland on a GBC Motorsports RJR Solo Pilot back Suzuki, Wesley Wolf. Our next rider aboard the number 10. He is everything that is GNCC. He is the oldest GNCC racer on the line. Well, not the oldest, but the longest running GNCC pro racer of all time right here aboard the number 10 from Aurora, Ohio, the GBC Fly Racing HMF Yamaha, Johnny Gallagher. Rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the number 12 from Ithaca, New York on a Goldspeed Waynesburg Yamaha backed by Custom Axis, Greg Covert. The number 201 from Carroll, Ohio on a Pierce Performance Moose Racing Spider Graphics backed Yamaha, Cody Collier. Rolling to the line next aboard the number 15 from Grain Valley, Missouri on a Spider Graphics Shockworks Motorsports GBC Tires backed Honda, Tucker Wyatt. Up next, on board the 776, out of retirement here in 2018, the 45-year-old rider from Knob Noster, Missouri on a Doolittle Trail DeRisi Racing HMF Honda, Brian Baker. And last and certainly not least, aboard the number 11 from right here out of the Buckeye State in Akron on a B&R Motorsports GBC Precision Yamaha, Josh Merritt. And that, ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for this Wiseco John Penton GNCC. It's over 150 riders converging on the starting line for this, our 4th race of the day today, as we get set to, wow, see whether or not someone can knock Walker Fowler off the top spot again this week. It's happened a couple of times this year. Can the Bidwell Bullet get his second win? Will the Richford Rocket take his first? And how about it? Will Chris Borich get his first win in nearly 46 races? 45 races will be the day today, will mark the day that it's been since he got a win. And can the winningest GNCC racer of all time find the magic, find the mojo, and make it happen here in one of the most prestigious off-road races in this Grand National Cross Country Championship Series? A lot of history. As we said, the oldest and longest standing GNCC on the circuit, starting in 1990 for this particular event itself. And so many things have happened over the course of those years. Our first winner, Chuck DeLulo, a former great GNCC champion and winner in the GNCC early days of this nation. And of course, the first time that Barry Hawk, one of the winningest GNCC racers on 2 and 4 wheels, struck his first win was right here in September of 1991. So a lot of history as far as the Wiseco John Penton GNCC is concerned, and a lot of anticipation as eyes focus now up to that first turn where Ricky Towery is making himself be known to these riders and letting it be known to them that we are now less than 30 seconds away. Shut them down, guys. Shut them down. Shut them down. Shut them down. Shut them down. As that blue flag waves and GNCC gets set to roll here in Ohio, I have to ask you, are you ready to go GNCC racing? Come on, Ohio. Come on, I know we can do better than that. I said it before. We're in the mecca of off-road racing here in the hills of southeastern Ohio. So I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself. I'm going to ask you one more time. Ohio, are you ready to go John Penton GNCC racing? 10 seconds. And row number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at the Wiseco John Penton GNCC. $250 hole shot up for grabs as they make the hard right-hand turn. Adam Mcgill nearly upends it, but it's Walker Fowler at the stripe. Cole Richardson in second. Third place, the number 4 Sports as they roll into turn 3. XC2 Pro-Am running next. Hunter Hart, Drew Lander, Steve Cover, Tanner Walker, Zachary Dean, Brody Livingood, Charles Dunn, Wes Kinsley, Kenny Schick, Ben Kowalowski, Nick Royalty, Matt Lindell, Derek Kopp, Austin Abney, John Glada, and Devin Masters all ready to roll next here in this XC2 Pro-Am class. We look to Ricky Towery. He lets us know it's time to roll in 10 seconds. .265 Nick Royalty, a bad start, but the 18 machine, that rider, Drew Landers out of Monterey, Tennessee, and a Coastal Racing Waynesburg Yamaha will take the early lead in $100 in the whole shot award as we go to the Vet A 30+ class next with riders like Big Papa P, Jeff Pickens, and A.J. Kuntz, the Barbo Man, Todd Muscala, James Green, Jeremy Cashard, Joshua Lynn, Dustin Hendershot, and Brad Whitehead, all ready to roll next in 10 seconds. Wow. Big Papa P, Jeff Pickens just lit it up coming off that start line right there. The 21 machine will take the early lead out of Shamokin, Pennsylvania on those CBT tires, backed by Waynesburg Yamaha and Fly Racing. The Senior A 40+ class coming up next. We got Mike Hayes, Justin Kerr, John Salsa, Mark Batson, Dale Batson, and Brian Shaw in 10 seconds. Oh, what a start here, my friends. jockeying for position through that first turn. Trying to steal it away, but not happening. Taking that early lead, 6-7-1. Dale Batson from Ida, Michigan on a Media All-Star Sportworks. Hansen, also Lone Star Racing Back Machine. Up next is the College A class. Talking about Joey Lambright, Logan Weishauer, Trevor Taylor, Josh Britton, Matthew Blankenship, Dalton Baker, Brendan Young, Joseph Yerkson, Levi Joy, Davis Prince, Jeff Wilson, Gavin Jenkins, McCain Jennings, Corey Silverthorne, Ronnie Rush, Corey Vanderliner, Eli Kiger, Josh Simmons, and Mikey Nichols in 10 seconds. .833 or .853. Josh Simmons from Marietta just up the road here. Uh-oh, 714. Ronnie Rush, little Ronnie Rush, not so little anymore. Hot on the throttle there. The 714 from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on a Teely Energy Kenda BPD bag machine. Junior A 22 plus class, less than 30. Levi Cohen, Zach Wright, Jake Millwood, Eric Straub, Ryan Thompson, James Malger, Andrew Connors, Robert Mapp, Nathan Owens, Nathan Emick, Bruce Weiland, Jordan Poplowski, Josh Haney. 10 seconds. Jacob Scott, Ben Danner, Dylan Taylor, Michael McAvoy, Chris Ballou, Matthew Briggs, Tyler Miller, and Luke Shepard. Woo! Man, it pinches off fast up front. And the 75 going to get the early lead. Jade Millwood from Cleveland, Georgia. He's on a Tire Spine RJ Art Sunstar back machine as we go to the Vet B 30 plus. Zach Phillips, Aaron Hendershot, CJ Mullen, Corey Tribalock, William Bolin, Rick Sams, Lodge Blazinski, Wes Smith, New York, Dave Napo, Chris Conklin, and Jared Little in 10 seconds. Here they go around that first turn. 74, Zachary Phillips from Parsons, West Virginia, grabbing the early lead on the Greg's ATV, ATV4 play, and Kenny back machine. Yeah, Kenny. Senior B, Lyle Morrison, Peter D'Andrea, Greg Phillips, Ed King, James Bonner, Brian Locke, and Jeff Harvey in 10 seconds. Oh, it's a hot one out here today, folks. Southeastern Ohio is bringing its first weekend unofficially of summer to us in full force. It's at the 918, Jeff Harvey from West Union, West Virginia on the Mcgill Mafia RG Honda, backed by Custom Axis. College B getting set to roll next. Jeremy LaDon, Jared Lambright, Peyton Dalton, Ben Wilson, Colby Clark, Lane Lofter, Ryan Miller. 10 seconds. Corey Miller, Hunter Harris, Levi Myers, Matthew Golden, Chase Allison, Austin Straub, Jeremy Stewart, Colton Kendall, Dylan Hagerman, Michael Orabello, Jonathan Crienbull, Carter Kearns, Reg Cox, and Cale Howard. Around that first turn, 391, Hunter Harris out of Trevorton, Pennsylvania, I believe is who we saw grabbing that early lead. Still got another row, the Junior B 22 plus class. Charlie Rogers, Sean Tice, Josh Adams, Ben Wilt, Tyler Palmer, Nathan Tickle, David Kites, Seth Stadler, Chris Landfield, Derek Ray, Alan Blabos, Justin Miller, Alex Iloff. 10 seconds. Curtis Tarman, George Corbin, Michael Jarasco, Nick Miller, Emily Wise, Michael Isaacson, Cody Holcomb, Dustin Ulrich, Cody Stallnicker, Cody Stewart, Blaze Taylor, and Ethan Stadler. And Emily, oh yes, there is the whole shot princess herself, the 419. Oh, she got pitched off that time. So the 419, I got looking for her and got lost as to who was up front out there. But man, I tell you, if you've watched most of the GNCC, you know Emily's got most of the whole shot so far this year. Well, that's going to do it. Some 150 plus riders on the track for this afternoon's race right now, my friends. Beautiful, hot, sunshiny day raining down on us here in southeastern Ohio in about 2 hours. of some intense woods racing getting ready to take place right here on RacerTV.com. Stick around. GNCC Live continues after this.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? Amsoil Signature Series Synthetic Motor Oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. Amsoil also offers a full family of ATV, UTV lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. Amsoil, devoted to protection.
Lucas Oil Pro Motocross returns to the legendary High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania for the 42nd annual Red Bull High Point National on Saturday, June 16th, located just 5 miles north of Morgantown off I-79 exit 1. Be trackside when the dirt flies. Go to highpointmx.com. Feel the roar of speed only motocross ring. The races start at 1 p.m. Saturday, June 16th at High Point Raceway. Visit highpointmx.com and we'll see you at the races June 16th.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser.
Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best?
The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why I
only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
We are American motorcyclists. We are members of the American Motorcyclist Association. Racers, fans, and crew. We come together for this sport we love, to race together, to grow together. We start young and not so young. We race motorcycles and ATVs. We become friends, we become family. We compete for weekend bragging rights and national championships. We make memories on the toughest off-road courses in the country and on the best motocross tracks in the world. Some of us aspire to the speed and poise of road racing or the fierce competitiveness of American flat track. And we honor our greatest champions in the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Through it all, we cheer, we win, and we lose. We are racing. We are the AMA. Race with us. Be part of the greatest sport in the world. Be an American motorcyclist. Join us today at www.amajoin.com/join-now.
The Amsoil GNCC series on Racer TV is brought to you in part by Amsoil, the first in synthetics, Rocky Mountain ATVMC, get ready, and Monster Energy, unleash the beast.
To GNCC Live, Mikey Wayne's here. I'll be joined alongside by Landon Wolf, as well as the guy you heard on the starting line at Rock Tom with that iconic 10-second call. Here we are at the Monster Mile at the Wiseco John Penton GNCC, longest running GNCC race we've got. Been coming out here since 1990. We've got a 12.1 mile course, 2-hour pro ATV race for you. And right here you are looking through the woods section of the Monster Mile. It may not be a full mile, but my God, it'll feel like one by the time they're done with it. So our leaders should be coming through here in just a moment. It was Walker Fowler out in front early. Adam Mcgill with some trouble there right off the start, but able to rebound and save it from going over. So nice little save there, Adam Mcgill, the Gator. And we'll be rolling on here with the leaders coming through. As you see, one of the race fans out there with the phone out, fist pump in the air, and who else is it? The number one, Walker Fowler, leading out in front as he works his way through this Rocky Creek section right here. No trouble for him at all. But I tell you what, we got trouble for the rest of the pack because there is no one in sight behind Walker Fowler. This is exactly, exactly what Walker talks about, getting that big lead out in front. There's the number 4, Chris Borich right there, looking for that elusive win. He takes a different line than what Walker did. So does our second place rider, can't quite tell, Cole Richardson. So the Coltrane back in the number 3 spot. Was that Mcgill there in fourth. Well, he picked a different line, goes on the outside. Looks like he gave up a position right there. So these are our XC1 guys here moving through the Monster Mile. You can see the line choice Walker took was the same line choice a rider took right there. So again, this is the Monster Mile here. I've got the mud fleas out there pointing lines for the XC1 riders. They're clean mud fleas right now, for now. We'll see if they don't jump in that creek. Rain is held off today. We've heard a few folks talking about maybe some rain showers today. You guys, if you tuned in to the start of the race, you saw how much dust was getting kicked up there, but not so much the case now, as we're going to start seeing some of the XC2 riders coming through. Boy, slippery. This is one of the things I was curious about, as a matter of fact, because in the youth race this morning, as well as the AM race, the Pro 4x4 and WXC, all you can see are the dusty sections. The motocross section, real dusty, but as they're coming through the finish, they're covered in mud. So these are these wood sections we've been hearing them talk about. It's slick, it's greasy. And this is that hard pack stuff, just sliding around on it. This doesn't look hard packed, I guess. But generally speaking, here in Ohio, we've got the hard packed Ohio mixture of mud and clay and almost like concrete. We'll find out more on that from Landon Wolf, who will be joining us here in just a moment. So more of our XC2 riders coming in through here now. And I believe here in just a moment, we're going to take a look at some video coverage we got, getting some insight from some of our pro riders coming in here today. That'll be coming up here in just a moment.
Here close to Athens, and just a hopscotch and a jump away, and this is hometown. A lot of family and friends here, and man, I've done a lot of racing here over the years. It's probably one of my first ever GNCCs I ever came to, and always does feel like home when I come back here. So yeah, it's always good feelings.
We're right across the river from Ohio. It's like everybody's like, you live in Ohio, right? I'm like, close, but no. So I mean, it's really cool to be. I take it to be one of the OG gangsters from back when, 250Rs and stuff, and when the heyday of GNCC, with the champions and the guys that are, essentially idolized and legends in the sport, and there's only a couple of us left, and it's Johnny, Chris, and me. And it's tough to say. I mean, you got a whole new wave of riders coming in, and a bunch of new product coming out, and it's crazy. I mean, the pace now. I mean, honest to God, we was talking about the X Factor, and it was like there was one time in my career I could say I was scared, and that was one of them. And it was wild, man. I mean, it's different. The older you get, the more you think about stuff. And like I said, I'm not ready to quit. I'm not ready to give it up, and I'm still hungry. I mean, hell, we still want to race at 30 years old, So the fight's still there, and the hunger's still there. But, at the end of the day, if I can't win, it is what it is. I give it my best, and I leave everything out on the track.
I mean, definitely safe to say that I've got the most laps spun around here and the most time spent in these woods. So went out and, was pedaling the course yesterday and checking some stuff out. Conditions are typical Penton, and then actually I did the e-bike race last night as well, so that was pretty fun. Yeah, just having a good time this weekend and trying to come in with a good positive attitude. It's been, it really has been a struggle of a season, but I'm just not trying to get down about it. Keep working hard, and if you do the right things, eventually you'll get your break, and maybe today's my day.
It pretty much just handed that one away. And that's the things that get frustrating, is I'm just handing these wins off. Go back to the last race. We got a whole shot, and I pushed very hard early, and I didn't pump up or anything, but I wasn't dropping the guys. All right, so I should rephrase that. 1 through 5 dropped everyone like a bad habit, and that top 5 stayed real close together. Ended up being a 4-rider battle after about an hour, and just the way the laps and just the way everything kind of worked out, it was a little odd. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a 4-lap race, a 5-lap race, 6-lap race. The times could have went a lot of ways. They were expecting a storm. It kind of pushed off. So it was just a weird race. But, like I said, I tried to push as hard as I could early, and it wasn't working. So I just backed it down. And every time that I heard a mistake or a bobble or was challenged, there was I think Borich, Neal, and McClure each tried to pass me one time, and then that really just turned the Jets up, and they probably wish they hadn't done that. And you know, I had amassed a huge lead the last lap. I had plenty in the tank because I wasn't hardly pushing all day because there was no sense to. I couldn't get away. So the last lap, I really picked it up. We put about a 30-second gap on them, and then I started running out of gas. And
Here close to Athens, and
all right, so there you go. You got the word from some of our XC1 pros there about the expectations coming into today. That wild finish we had in the last round at the X Factor. Taking a look at the pits right here, Comedic Gaskets, and we're getting ready to take a look now at the replays of XC1. So here we go, the Rocky Mountain Atvmc rapid replay. Our XC1 whole shot winner. Who gets it? Ooh, see Adam Mcgill going up on two wheels right there. Ooh, that was sketchy, but Walker Fowler, and you saw him coming through that monster mile, the big gap he's formed since taking that whole shot. Now we take a look at the XC2. It was the number 18 of Drew Landers, I believe, who ended up getting the whole shot there. So there you go. That's how it started out today. That's where we're at so far. So here we are back at the Monster Mile, seeing some of these A-class riders come in through here. And man, the temperature, if you were out here, you know, the temperature's starting to drop a little bit. Maybe we'll see a little bit of rain. Oh, it's starting to sprinkle. Rodney just snuck in here. He'll be joining us here in just a moment. Rodney pointed at his head and said it's starting to feel some sprinkles. I won't say anything more than that, Rodney. We'll just leave it at that. There's a reason he calls me the freshest big boy. I've got the hair, just not the beard. That's the only problem. Poor genetics for facial hair. What's that? Landon Wolf joining us. What's going on, Landon Wolf? We're looking at the Monster Mile right now, and it's called the Monster Mile for a reason. You can see one of our Monster Energy banners down, a rider having some trouble, getting a little help there. Excuse me. As Landon Wolf, that might be Papa Piggy right there. No, maybe not. Just similar gear. So as the temperature drops and these guys dealing with this, Landon Wolf joining me in the booth now. And Landon, did you guys run the Monster Mile this morning?
We did get to run the Monster Mile. I believe they might be running a little bit of that creek section there.
Yes, correct.
So we actually came down from the right, but we did do that tricky uphill, and I tell you, it's getting really slick out there in a couple places. But gonna make for good racing, I'm sure, and I think the track's getting better as the day goes on, but I'm not sure. I don't know if they're still calling for a little bit of rain today. I know at one point they were, but if it does rain, it'll be like ice out there for sure.
Oh yeah. So talk to us a little bit about this wise coach John Penton. I know, from an outsider's perspective, if you can see the motocross section of this track, everything, it looks dusty. But once you get in the woods, that's not the case at all, as we're seeing right here in the Monster Mile.
No, it's weird because the motocross track actually was pretty dusty, but the woods, yesterday a lot of us were out biking the track, and it was so hard to bike. We walked our bike around the track pretty much. We took the bike for a walk. But today, the first lap was a little wet, but by the time we went through one lap, the whole morning class went through one lap, a lot of the mud was blown off. Almost all the mud was blown off by the end of our race. I mean, obviously here coming out of the creek, that's why they're dragging all that water up onto that hill, which is making it tough. But the water's gone, and the track conditions are actually really, really good out there right now, which was surprising after what we saw yesterday.
That's for sure. So to kind of fill you in, Landon, we've got Walker Fowler, got the whole shot, and boy, I should have paid attention to the gap, but he had a pretty big gap as he came through this Monster Energy Monster Mile. No one in his sights, and then the rest of the pack rolled through. I would say second through about 5th place. We're all grouped in there together, and honestly, all kind of picking different lines. Some of these guys, it seemed to be a little slower if they're going around the little rock section right there that these guys are hitting head on as they're getting pointed out some good lines from the mud fleas. We've not really been able to see many mud fleas this season, but they're out there here in full force today.
Yeah, no doubt. They definitely have them here at the John Penton. We got a good crowd here today as well. I mean, the place is packed. We got a lot of spectators. We got a lot of racers. We got good racing. But yeah, as you can see, this hill gets tricky, and it's only going to get trickier because it's getting slicker and they're dragging more water up on it. But yeah, it's track's really good, gonna make for good racing, and I'm pumped to see who comes out on top. I will note, I was at the maybe mile and a half just after the 1 mile marker, and Walker had already pulled out like a 5-second lead, so pretty impressive.
Do you think the mindset for Walker coming into this, it's been for him, it's been an up and down season. If it was anybody else, we'd be talking, oh, he's got the points lead, he's doing great. But for Walker Fowler, after the season that he had in 2017, it's not been the season he expected. I mean, if you're Walker, what's the mindset coming into today's race especially? And he talked about it a little bit in the interviews that we had with him. You know, what is his mindset coming into a race like today?
I would say nothing less than hungry. Like you say, it definitely isn't an up and down season because he's had a phenomenal season. But for Walker Fowler, for what he thinks he can do or what knows he can do, I know he's going to want more.
Well, as we work out little feedback issues. Headset's coming in a little hot on the ears. That's all right. Making do. What? Are you? Well, maybe not. Maybe we don't have Rodney on there. Well, Rodney's joined us in the booth. We'll get the headset situation worked out here in just a second. He's going to improv. Ingenuity, that is the being adaptive, and ingenuity, that's what it's all about.
That's right, man. I mean, when you've been out in the field as long as I have, man, I mean, I'm the field MacGyver as far as announcers are concerned. I can make about anything work. Here we are, guys, Monster Mile entrance, and look at this racetrack. You know, we haven't had any rain as of yet, and hopefully we won't have, but this is a part of the track where the rains leading into this week certainly took its toll. And not only that, coming up out of that creek, it's dragging a lot more extra water, so it's adding extra moisture. So this might be a little deceiving as to what the rest of the track is like. But Landon, you were out there in that 4x4 Pro class a little while ago. I mean, we're looking at this coming out of this creek. Is this about as muddy as it gets out there, or are there worse sections?
Yeah, we were just talking about that a little bit. The track, we were saying that yesterday the track was rough. It was wet, and today it actually turned out to be a really good track. The rain pretty much, or all the water blew off the first lap pretty much, and turned out to be a phenomenal track. And I think by the end of their race, as long as the rain holds off, I think it's going to be another really good one for them.
Well, I know, we did have rains, I think, like earlier in the week, through the nighttime hours, especially some heavy rains, and I was a little concerned about that. And I got to looking at the weather forecast leading into this weekend. I know how concerned a lot of other folks were. But I looked at the details of the forecast, and though we were calling for 80 and 90% chance of showers, it was for like 1/10 of an inch here and 2/10 there. So, I mean, the amounts weren't really overwhelming or anything. So I think, honestly, in some of these dusty field sections, a little rain wouldn't hurt. I don't know what it would do for the woods, though, but just a little would help a lot.
Yeah, the field sections, I mean, there's not too many field sections here, but there are some out here by the start, and they were extremely dusty. And then the motocross track was pretty dusty as well, but the fact that we have already blown the water off, if it does rain, it's going to be slick in the woods.
Now, traditionally, obviously, we talk about this GNCC being the longest-standing GNCC on the circuit. It all began back in 1990. Pretty good woods whenever you look at things. I mean, it's surprising to me. We've been going nearly 30 years here, and there's still a lot of tight wood sections out there, tighter than what you would think, considering we've ran through them so many times in so many directions.
It's actually funny you mentioned that, because I was just talking a little bit ago. I actually wasn't aware somehow that this was the longest-standing GNCC, and we have gone to some GNCCs for 4 years, and the tracks are pretty blown out, and the woods here are in great condition. But here we go. We have Walker Fowler coming through the mulch pit over by the starting line. He's about maybe a mile and a half from the finish line, but it looks like he is on the hammer. Pulled out quite a lead already.
Well, this is typical Walker Fowler fashion right here. This is the things that he looks to do, and we even talked a little bit about it in the pre-race interviews today here trackside today. And, the last few races, we haven't seen him be able to do that. We've seen him get beat a couple of different times. And last race, it wasn't until the last lap or so that he was able to start stretching things out. And even he said he didn't realize he was pushing as hard as he was during that race because he expected to be able to run a lot longer on the fuel that he ran, and he ran out a couple of turns early out there. And, he's not wanting to be in that position again today.
No.
So he got off to a great jump off the start like that. Cole Richardson was right behind him with Chris Borch, and he said goodbye to those guys.
Now we have Chris Borch in the number 2 spot. Big battle for the number 2 spot. Chris Borch, Cole Richardson, Bryson Neal, Jared McClure, and then Wesley Wolf hanging in there as well. We've got some close racing. Other than Walker, we got some close racing. You got Wesley, Marty Christopherson, Josh Merritt, and Devin Feehan.
Well, at this point, the big question is, do we just count Walker Fowler out and say, this guy, barring no major miscalculations, mechanical errors, or something like this, is on his way to what looks like another win, and it could be a race for second
There
today.
we go. Adam Mcgill. I did notice there's Hunter Hart working his way up into the front of the pack, but there I noticed Adam Mcgill must be having some issues. He pulled in the plus 48.
Oh, my God. That's a lap.
That's
and that's
not even a lap yet.
12 seconds shy of 1 minute. I mean, what is it that Walker Fowler has that the rest of these guys don't have out there?
I tell you what, today, I think it's maybe riding a little angry.
I know. Like we were saying, he considers what has happened these last 2 races up and down, and he's tired of that, and that's pretty obvious at this point.
Well, I don't know if his intentions is to demoralize the competition, but I would almost have to think that's what he's thinking right now as he hits track and makes his way towards the finish line. A plus 48-second lead. That was at the pits. I wonder what it'll be whenever we roll around to the finish line itself, as we hear the rest of the riders now make through the pro pits. There they go now, and you can see the B. Neal pits are pumped right now. They're wanting a win here in Ohio. They're wanting their second win, and they're wanting to do it in front of the hometown. They're about 45 to 50 minutes from their front door right now, and this is a place to get a win if he's going to get another one here in 2018.
Yeah, I tell you, I think I might know what Walker's intentions are, and they're probably something along the line of, if he runs out of fuel 2 corners from the finish, he's got time to push it through.
that might be the idea.
I tell you, he has a massive lead already. I mean, he's maybe 3/4 of the motocross track ahead already. Chris Borch has put on a good charge. I know he was in 4th at one point. He's worked his way up to 2nd. And then right behind him, I believe, is Bryson, maybe?
I believe it was, yeah.
I haven't got an eye on him just yet. Yep. No, it's Cole. No,
Cole.
It's Cole Richardson, and then Bryson, and then Jared McClure.
Well, rolling up to the completion of lap number 1, Chris Borch, the winningest GNCC racer of all time, is faced with a monumental gap here in this afternoon's race if he intends to, stop the dry spell, so to speak.
Adam Mcgill, this is a tough one for him. It wasn't 2 races ago. I know he got a bad start at the last race, and wasn't real happy with how it went, but the race before that he had some motor issues, but now he looks like hopefully he's not out for good. Hopefully it's a fixable problem, and he can get back out there. Didn't know. So it looks like,
man,
right, so
what a heartbreak.
We just a note to the guys in the booth. You have some morning results on the thing there. We got Fowler and then Dwight Pollard maybe. It looks like they're working. Are they working on a shock? Yeah, it looks like he's.
Wow.
Looks like they're going to take the shock off the bike is what it's looking like here. Maybe.
Wow, hard to believe that this young man
there he is.
Really began his... I wish we could hear what he was saying right now.
Scream louder, buddy.
Well, the folks at home might be able to hear him. I don't know.
I'm clearly not a very good lip reader.
Well, good mood, good spirits, and that's a good thing. I mean, even whenever you're faced with adversity such as that, and if you can be that solid of a performer and that funny, I think that's saying quite a bit about your character.
That's for doggone sure. I think I found out the problem here as to why I wasn't working. So right now they're putting a little gas in. Might as well take advantage of the situation right now. And look at that. Adam doesn't even have his helmet on yet. So they're not quite there yet. There's the shock. Finally, the lower section of that shock is finally dismantled. They'll get that top part off. I'm not real sure. Are they going to just replace the shock? Is that what they're in the process of doing, or what do you think's going on here?
I don't know. I'm not real sure because it doesn't look like they even. Oh well, yeah. I think it is a shock because Mike is over there. I know that's a shock guy. So.
Well, we continue to watch Adam McGill pits right now, and we watch timing and scoring. Hunter Hart is checked in. Walker Fowler with a 29.08, Hunter Hart with a 29.51, and you start doing the math on that, and he is well within the 55 seconds of Cole Richardson right now.
It looks like Hunter Hart is in the number 2 spot overall.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we were saying there.
Oh, okay.
He's within that 55 seconds between first and second, the XC1 of Cole Richardson and Walker Fowler. Bryson Neal is 3rd in class. He's 4th overall, 5th overall right now. His last race winner, a sneaky snake, Jared McClure, who lived up to his name, man, when he made that last 4/10 of a second pass.
Yeah, that was wild. That was a wild pass there last corner. I mean, it was, 1 foot in front of the finish line. I don't know that anybody's ever made a pass that close to the finish line.
I don't know. In my history of it since 2002 on a consistent basis and back to 1996, I don't remember it ever being, well, I don't know. There was one time whenever Rodney Smith and Fred Andrews had a battle in Parkersburg, West Virginia, that was just off the scale. That one might have been just as close. It was funny. Those two ran up onto the podium, both of them thinking they won the race.
Really?
Both of them thought that they won the race, and they had it was that close to the
Did they even have transponder scoring at that point?
Yeah, it was all handwritten. So it was all Captain Russ was the finish line flagger at that point. He had to make the visual call on that. I don't even remember who won. I just remember it. That was my first GNCC experience, and I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah, that'll do it to you.
Well, I'll tell you right now, this right here is not enough to hook you if you're in Adam McGill's shoes. It's enough to fire you up. And it may fire you up enough to want to come back and do what Walker Fowler's trying to do right now, demoralize the competition. A 55-second lead over Cole Richardson, who's 2nd in class and 3rd overall. Doing the math here real quick, if we do that, that's like 40. So we're like in the neighborhood of like 42, 43 seconds or so that separate Hunter Hart from the overall position right now from Walker Fowler.
Yep, there we had Walker Fowler heading up the FMF PowerPoint, so should have put a clock on that to see exactly how far ahead he is still. But yeah, Hunter Hart, what a first lap for him. That's impressive.
Well, you know, he is the kid that is out. I mean, he's following basically in Walker Fowler's footsteps. His idea is to do any and everything that he can better than Walker Fowler. He wants to break and smash any record that Walker Fowler has ever set. He wants to best him, and so far through the youth ranks and even through some of the amateur ranks, he's been able to do so. It's just now into this Pro-Am rank, he hasn't been able to achieve an overall. Actually, Hunter hasn't even been on an overall podium, I don't think, as an XC2 rider. So that's one record that he hasn't been able to match just yet. But, you know, he's fired up to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Bryson Neal has went from the 4th spot up to the number 2 spot now. Chris Borchin 2nd and Cole Richardson 3rd.
Whenever they came through the finish line.
4th, I'm sorry.
Bryson Neal was in the 3rd spot in the
XC1
Pro class.
So now he's moved up to 2.
Yeah, and he had dropped back, I think, like you said, to a 4th place position. So now up to 2nd physically on the racetrack. On time adjustments, we're going to still call that 3rd overall, but regardless, for the sake of argument, it will be 2nd from here on out.
Yeah.
And right here, look at this. I mean, look at those beautiful woods. I mean,
the track's great today. I tell you, the woods here are gorgeous. I put a clock on them there. That was 52 seconds now. Around there anyway.
Speaking of clocks, we are now 36 minutes and 25 seconds at mark. And we're just barely into this, man. I mean, an hour and a half, a little less than an hour and a half left of racing. And oftentimes we don't see a 54-second lead until late in the race. It's hard to believe how much of a lead has been amassed. Can Walker Fowler continue to stretch that out further, or will he find a pace and stick around where he's at? And I almost have to think that he's going to find that comfort zone, Landon, and he's going to ride right there. I think that he may have found it when he came through the pro pit area when he got that plus 48 sign. He's since then extended that from 48 seconds to 55. Now, you take into consideration they came through the pits 48 seconds. They get to the finish line less than a mile later, 55 seconds. He gained 7 seconds in about a mile's worth of racing.
Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, the kid's definitely impressive. Look, we got some alternate lines going up this FMF hill.
Tell me a little bit about the FMF PowerPoint here today. We see it is a hill climb section, but we also see, like you said, there's alternate lines there. What's going on here?
Yeah, so what they do, they come out of a field section, jump into the woods. They actually go up on the hill before this here, drop down the hill, and then they have to make a U-turn, and it's not straight up the hill. So you're actually going across the hill, and there's like quite a few different lines across the hill. It looks like we do have one main line, and then they run out the ridge there, drop down like a pretty gnarly downhill, and then a muddy section on back. So FMF PowerPoint this weekend is a good one for sure.
That off-camber probably throws a twist in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, not only do you have a hill climb, you have an off-camber hill climb. So, yeah, it definitely makes it interesting. Here we got Adam Mcgill, got his helmet back on, goggles back on. He's got fuel. The question is, can he make it back inside the top 20? Because in the pro class, you get 0 points if you don't finish in the top 20. So even if miraculously, I know this would never happen, but you got second in class and you're outside the top 20,
you wouldn't get points.
You don't get any points. So it's going to be tough. It's you know, obviously he spent a lot of time changing this shock. It's going to be an all-day battle, and not only does he have to run a good pace to get back inside the top 20, but he also has to pass the other people that have now gone by him.
Well, at this point, you almost have to say it's a wash. So basically, this should be a day where Adam Mcgill can just go out and have fun on his four-wheeler. I mean, not saying that racing isn't fun, but whenever the pressure of, well, knowing that you're not battling for a win isn't on you, and well, let's just make the best out of it.
Just go out and ride, rip around, have some fun. Yeah, and honestly, sometimes when you're having fun, you're actually riding faster than you were if you were really trying.
It's really strange how that, well, I guess, you know, I mean, you get nervous and you get tensed up sometimes and you overthink things. And when you aren't thinking sometimes, that's when it flows the best for you.
Absolutely. I tell you, I don't know about you, but I am looking out here at the skies. It is darkening up a little bit. I know.
Yeah, and I did feel a few on my rain detector, my balding head.
Right.
I felt a little microscopic sprinkles a few moments ago, but I have not seen or felt anything since then. So I think we may, at least for the moment, be under the clear. I was looking at radar just prior to the start of the race. There are showers that are popping up, literally just popping up. There's nothing on the radar, and in 5 minutes they go from nothing to a small blip of green to a big blip of red and yellow.
Yeah.
And they're moving fast, so it'll be one of those things. If we do get one, it'll dump its thing and it'll just keep on moving. So that's the fortunate thing. And again, it'll help situations just like this.
Absolutely.
Not that it's overly dusty, not that it's but it's hot out there right now, Landon, and in dusty conditions and hot temperatures and the sweat that these guys, I mean, even standing on the starting line announcing, I had sweat running in my eyes.
I can imagine,
burning, man.
I can imagine.
It's got to be tough on these guys.
It's brutal. The humidity out here is just crazy. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that there. This is the biggest reason why I love GNCC racing so much. This is Adam Mcgill's pit here, and you have so many people from other pit areas working on the bike right there. Competitors. They're helping him out, so that's cool to see from these guys for sure.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, I mean, as great as the camaraderie is amongst the competitors in the XC1 and XC2 classes in ATV racing, it's kind of funny how it's absent in the two-wheel side of things, you know?
Yeah, it really is. The four-wheel side of things, we're just all really close, and it makes for just a good weekend. I mean, we come here to have fun. But there's Walker Fowler coming through the Monster Mile, makes it look easy.
Makes it look fun, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just sliding around through there like slot carting it or something like that. So he's having a good time. E-bikes.
Yeah, here we got Stuart Baylor on his e-bike, Caleb Russell right behind him, and I'm sure that's not Thad behind him because I don't think Caleb and Thad be biking together. But go, Stu, go. You're killing it, man.
Uh-oh, here comes
Get out of the way. Bryson's coming up behind you.
No doubt. Now that right there takes some guts that these guys can do that, and that's great. The beauty and the uniqueness of GNCC. I mean, it is what it is, and it is something unparalleled in any other form of racing. I believe.
Absolutely. Look what they're doing there. They're jumping out of the creek early so they can get onto some of that dirt, and they're not on that real slick hard pack stuff. But Wesley Wolf having a good day here today, and he might actually be closing up to that group battle for the number 2 spot.
I think it looked like he might have been. We look at the deficit. He was 19 seconds behind
he's
McClure.
Definitely closed in on him.
Yeah,
man.
he's really reeling those guys in quite a bit right now. So
yeah, heck of a ride from Wesley. So far, keep it together, bud.
Exactly. He's, a little different scenario for him. He is our XC1 GNCC Pro, and he does double duty as an AMA Pro ATV motocross racing star. And he also carries a full-time job working construction. Said yesterday he was on a 12-12 roof, ripping off shingles and old slate off of a roof. And I think that's not. And here he is today racing an ATV.
Yeah, they're definitely hard workers. His dad's taught him how to work, that's for sure.
And I mean, as frustrating as it is to have to work and to race, I think that he does it as well as anybody, and probably there's not many people that could settle into the type of lifestyle that he has to live doing that.
They live an extremely busy lifestyle, and but they love it. They enjoy it. It would be tough, though. I mean, it would be a tough thing to do, and I'm sure he's pumped to have results like this after putting in all the work that he does. It's certainly a rewarding thing to get results like this.
Well, 2 laps down for Walker. Oh, nope, I just seen that pop up, and I thought, well, that was doggone quick right there. We're still 15 minutes out before Walker Fowler will be due in with us here. Hunter Hart running on adjusted time in second. It was the Chris Borch, Cole Richardson, Bryson Neal show. Jared McClure was in there. Now Wesley Wolf, within just a handful of seconds. He was nearly 20 seconds back. Now he's closing in. Marty Christopherson's back in 8th. Josh Merritt in 9th. Evan Feehan, our XC1 Pro rookie, was right there behind Josh Merritt, rounding out the top 10. And we're still watching over there in the Adam McGill pits. And right now we're being joined in studio by a very recognizable individual, I think, from the GNCC Racing Nation, the two-wheel side of things. He is the team manager and basically the guru now at KTM over there. We're talking about Antti Kallinen, the mechanic whenever Juha Salminen came over here back in 2005. And Antti, you made a home here, man, and I think it's really cool that 13 years later, here you are still, and you're running the whole KTM efforts here in GNCC.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. Yeah, I never knew that I would stay here when I first came and step on this soil. It was just a mechanic gig for a couple of years, but 13 years later, I'm still here doing the same thing.
I think that is so neat, man. I mean, and it's really funny. I mean, because when you first came over, I mean, it was completely foreign to you. You didn't know what to expect. I mean, basically, you wanted to come and show the Americans how you guys did it in the rest of the world with Juha. And Juha, at the time, was the most elite motorcycle athlete on the planet, I think, when it came to woods racing.
Yeah, I think so. At that time, he kind of raised the bar, and all the riders after him keep raising the bar.
He changed the face of GNCC racing. We wouldn't have the types of racing, the types of training, the types of level of racing, I don't think, had Juha not made it here that year.
Yeah, and I think it's just the evolution of things, like now we see new young riders coming up and doing the same thing that, Juha did, 13 years ago, and elevating the sport. It's just, continuous thing that happens in motorsports. Things develop, bikes develop, riders develop new techniques, gets introduced. So it's great to see, and it's been great to, be part of GNCC racing for now basically 13 years, starting from mechanic and now moved on and managing the KTM race team.
And what's awesome is you've been managing the KTM race team. You've also been a big supporter and a spearheader in ISDE efforts for the U.S. team as well. And you helped take Team USA to an overall championship here just a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a dream of mine to really, give back to the sport. And now I call this home. So, I'm trying to put everything into to developing the U.S. team to be the best in the world, and we proved it in 2016 with the trophy championship in Spain, and now this is going to be my 7th year this year to manage the U.S. ISDE team, and our goals haven't changed. We're still going after the championship, and actually in all 3 categories. I mean, now we've already won the trophy once. We won junior a couple times. Women now got really close last year with the 2nd place. So really, we're going after all the championships, all the wins in this year's ISD in Chile.
That sounds great. And Auntie, with that, ISD efforts, we usually have some pretty cool things leading up to that to help fund that, because that's basically a race that riders are required to fund themselves, so to speak. And what we do as a team is we get together and we try to gather a bunch of money together, and that way we can get everybody's trip paid for as much as possible, and make it make them a little more competitive, if you will, by being there with that advantage. And we have fundraisers, and one of those fundraisers we have coming up is the golf tournament at Snowshoe GNCC in just a few rounds.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 5th annual golf tournament. We've done it 5 years in a row, and it's just a real fun time to get together with the racing community and kind of forget the racing for a day and just hang out, have a good time. It's been really successful and well received every year, so this is going to be our 5th year doing it, and inviting everyone out to play, even if you're not a really golfer. You know, it's just having a good time. Got to thank all the sponsors that are on board again to fund this tournament, and making it possible to actually make some sponsorships and gather some fundings to fund these athletes. The 10. There's going to be 4 trophy team members, 3 junior riders, and 3 women riders this year. So 10 athletes plus their mechanics plus support staff. So we estimate every year about $15,000 per rider, and we've been fortunate enough to be able to actually get all the funding every year for the last couple of years.
That's amazing.
I started small, funding a little bit, maybe flight, maybe a hotel, and now the last couple of years we've been able to fund all the trophy riders, all their expenses, and thanks to sponsors, thanks to manufacturers chipping in to really help their athletes to go to this. And many times this event is out of their normal racing schedule and normal contract, and they're really doing it to be representing USA and be proud of doing it.
Yep, they aren't getting paid for it. It is on their own time and their own dime, so to speak, and that's why we do the fundraisers like the ISDE golf tournament coming up. It will begin a shotgun start at 9 a.m. on Friday morning prior to the Snowshoe GNCC, run until approximately 3:30. Each team is made up of 4 players, and space is limited, so get your team registered early by completing the online registration. The cost is $100 per person, which includes a meal at the end of the round of golf, and a whole lot of fun, a lot of great memories. Auntie, I want to say thanks to you for being here with us.
Thanks for having me, Rodney.
And look forward to many more years of GNCC racing with you, my friend.
Definitely. Thanks.
Auntie Colin, and once again. And, of course, Auntie, such an integral part of not only the KTM team, but the ISDE efforts, like he said, for the past 5 years or so. We've gotten overall wins with Ryan Sipes. We've gotten team wins there a couple of years ago, and we're hoping to be able to pull something like that off again as we're joined back in booth with LW, Landon Wolf, and we take a look at things. We are still 1 lap into this, working on lap number 2, nearly 51 minutes into the race. Walker Fowler, last check, was leading by nearly a minute over Hunter Hart, who is now second overall. Again, as we pointed that out, Chris Borch, third overall, second in class. Cole Richardson and Bryson Neal. However, Bryson, I believe, has gotten around Cole last we saw them anyway, Landon, and that would put him actually, well, third. I think he's gotten around Chris too, right? It's up to second, I think, is what we were looking at.
Yeah, it looks like last time we saw him, I think Bryson was in the number 2 spot. Chris was in the number 3 spot. Jared 4th, and Cole in 5th. Wesley went from a 19-second gap up to, I don't know, I'm going to guess like 5 to 8 seconds.
Right.
So he's obviously putting the hammer down. Good ride for him. What he needs to do is close up in on those guys so he can watch them, follow them, make moves for better positions.
Well, we'll see, and we'll watch to see whether or not he is able to do just exactly that, and it's a lot of fun to see these kids on the horizon of something possibly great today. And Wesley may be on the verge of something big. It may not be a win for him, but this is a pretty monumental ride for him, especially coming off the last couple of weeks, the hard work he's been putting in construction at home, and also the hard work on the racetrack.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a rough start to the year, but he's definitely coming on strong later on in the year. Here we are on the Monster Mile. As I said, the longer the race goes on, the more water they're going to drag out of that stream onto the hill, and it's just going to get tougher and tougher, slicker and slicker. So it's now claiming some victims, and I don't think it's going to get any better, any easier anyway.
Wow, that hole is starting to get deep. I mean, just a lap ago when we were looking at this was nowhere like this. I mean,
nothing like that.
Mikey Wayne standing by in the pits. What's up, Mikey?
Broken spring. What happened?
We don't know for sure. He didn't say. He wasn't mad. So I guess maybe broke it there in the first corner when it kind of high-sided. We don't know.
So possibly right off the start then. I know we saw him on the broadcast moving through the mulch pile and really struggling. So what's the expectation now, man? I mean, what's going through his head as he goes out there? Hoping for a downpour of rain maybe? Work his way back up front, sneak up there?
No, he can win it. Yeah, we need a lot of help, but he can win it.
I think you're exactly right. There you go. The word on the dirt, as it were.
That's confidence right there. But he's right. I mean, if circumstances all fall in the right place, he could certainly win it. There's no doubt about it.
Everyone else could break a rear spring too, you know.
That's it.
It's
and I'll tell you
possible.
somebody else that would like to win it. Johnny Gallagher, man. Johnny coming off of not such a good race last race, and back here in Ohio, had a chance to talk with him, and things are going very well. He won that race a year ago at X Factor. Last race, I mean, that's crazy how he went from one of the greatest rides to one of the worst rides at the same track in a year's time like that. But, man, Johnny's back out with a vengeance here today. I don't think we're seeing necessarily the ride out of him right now that he wants. He's all the way back in 17th place overall. But anyway, he is certainly hungry and going to be trying to work up through the pack. And we had a chance to catch up with Johnny and do our GNCC rig tour with Johnny G.
Hey guys, welcome to RacerTV, and for today's episode of GNCC Rigs, we're going to check out my rig and my digs for the weekends, race weekends. I call it my race house, and we'll go in and check things out. Obviously, as you can see, I'm a bit of a clean freak, like things to be in their place and organized. You know, a lot of things go on throughout the course of the weekend, and the more organized you can be, the smoother it makes things when you do have to do. Here's the race machine. She's all prepped and ready to go. Just got to groove some tires and put some fuel in her. We got the list of what we do during the race weekend. We'll cover up one thing because somebody was writing graffiti, but that's kind of the prep stuff that we got to do. In here is basically like a home away from home. You know, it's nice. Did the hotel life for a lot of years, and this is the first year having the toy hauler and getting it all dialed in, so really makes things nice here at the races. Got the, you know, it's nothing big, but definitely we went with quality. So we got the slide out over here. Actually folds into an extra bed. Normally have 3 people staying here throughout the course of the weekend. This was a big selling feature for me, the nice 55-inch flat screen on the back wall. We didn't want the walk-through door to go into the back because we didn't want the smells and dirt coming in here. We got the nice kind of Southwest theme going on with the cabinets. And we got another thing that was a big selling feature for me was, you know, after a race, there's nothing better than getting yourself a nice shower. We got the full-size shower in here that, you know, really lets you get cleaned off and have some room. A lot of these camper showers are pretty tiny, so when it's nice when you come in and actually have some room to move around. I got my loofah. Don't judge me. Up here's this is the master bedroom up here. Nice and comfy. Got the big queen size bed. Got another 42-inch flat screen in the corner there, and watch a little TV before I'm falling asleep. All right, guys, so that's the tour. Thanks for checking out the GNCC Rigs edition. Like I said, GBC Motorsports hooking it up. Sweet rig for this year and going forward. And the older I get, the more comfortable I want to be, and these guys definitely dialed it in. Thanks for checking it out, and we'll see you on the track here in just a little bit.
Johnny G uses a loofah? And Landon Wolf just informed me so does he. Oh,
he felt a little embarrassed about it, but I use one too.
Yeah, I've used my girlfriend's every once.
Yeah. So it looks like we got Bryce and Neal still in the number 2 spot. They just came through this mulch pile. We obviously missed Walker coming through. Bryce and Neal number 2 spot. Jared McClure up to the number 3 spot. Chris Borch 4th. Cole Richardson 5th. one thing we're missing here is Wesley. He was a lot closer last time we saw him. Must have had a little bit of an issue, a little hiccup out there on the track, but hopefully he is still moving. This looks like him coming in, some white gear.
Beanbag chair.
Okay. Here comes Walker into the pits now.
Wow, look at this. He is on fire.
He really is. He sure is.
Look at that. I mean,
tell you, he might be literally on fire because it is hot out.
right now.
Yeah.
It is starting to cool down, though. That overcast sky, I believe there is a small front moving through, so it is cooling down. The sun's not as intense, and this could pure huge dividends for some of these guys out here, especially in the A and B classes that don't have a chance to train as much as these front-running guys.
Yeah, I mean, these guys train for this, but I don't care. I don't care how good a shape you're in. It's still hot, and like you say, it is cooling down a little bit. So maybe they got a good breeze out there that's helping them out. But still, I don't think the heat's not a factor for Walker right now. I mean, he is pushing through everything, just ripping. So
it blows me away. I mean, how guys really enjoy the heat. There's Bryson Neal. He's in the pits, and that's still near that 1 minute deficit.
50 seconds.
Wow.
So here's the thing that we always talk about. Walker Fowler gets the whole shot, yanks a lead right off the bat. I mean, must be pushing like really hard to yank a lead like that, and then he rides the rest of his race. Smart, calm, cool, collective, and it works. It works. I mean, there he comes through. They're giving him the 2-lap card, so it's going to be a 4-lap race. I think they are running about a 30-minute lap time.
That was 29:21. He was in the same range on lap number 1 as well. Maybe 28:51 or 29:51.
Yep.
But,
so, yeah, definitely a 4-lap race. We should end up with Walker being just under 2 hours. The other guys maybe just right at 2 hours. So, perfect track for a 4-lap race. It looks like they are finding some mud out there. So Monster Mile, I know they're running a little bit of the creek section down there. So they are finding a little bit of mud, but not too bad. Not too bad considering what it looked like here today, or yesterday, I'm sorry.
Well, here we roll into second place coming toward the finish line. We saw 54 seconds that separated first and second at the end of lap 1. At the end of lap 2, 47 seconds. So whether or not, I don't know whether Bryson sped up or Walker slowed down, but whatever the case may be, things are getting a little bit tighter. And speaking of tighter, this is the rider that was tightest behind on adjusted time. Hunter Hart in the pits right now as he gets a quick splash of fuel and some fresh goggles, and he's off and rolling as well.
Yeah, he definitely had a great first lap.
Think about how quick he came into the pro pits in amongst everyone else. He really seems to be close to that second wave of riders behind Walker Fowler.
Yeah, he is. He is. I don't know. I think, what was he, about 5 seconds ahead of him on the first lap because he was about 55, or no?
He was somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 20 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, ahead of those guys. Yeah, so, all right, so Bryson Neal's checked in 47.6 seconds back in second so far. Jared McClure in third, only 4 seconds behind him. Chris Borch, 2.4 seconds behind him. Cole Richardson, 3.5 seconds back. So we got a really good second, third, and fifth place battles going on right now. And Hunter Hart is checked in. Oh, no, he hasn't. Hunter Hart will be checking in.
Any second now.
Seen Wesley Wolf is checked in. He's in 6th place, 50 seconds now. So it's crazy how he was closing the gap, and now that gap opened way wide now.
Yeah, I tell you, these guys are, the finish line is right behind us here on the booth, and you can hear them coming over the jump right after the finish line, and they are on the hammer.
Yeah, there's Hunter Hart checking in, and this time around, a lap time of 30 minutes and 5 seconds yields him the lead still in the XC2 Pro-Am class, but now 6th place overall as this part of the race, you know, we talked about it early on. And there's the rain starting to fall right now. Starting to see some big drops hit the ground out there. So I talked to him about that whenever we were talking in the pre-race interviews, asking him about, you know, being up there front in the early on, what happens. And basically he says, I just think those guys really dropped the hammer. That, you know, they're running somewhat of a steady pace, but they're holding back on that first lap or two. And he says after that, they just unleash it. And he says being by himself, he just has no way to gauge or even keep up with the pace they're running at this point.
Yeah, I raced the XC2 class for a year, and then I went to the Pro class, and that was definitely the biggest difference between the two. The XC2 class, there's already been a whole class going through the woods, so there's definitely predetermined lines and all that, but the pace on the first lap of the pro class is always, I don't want to say, it's certainly not slow by any means, but they're more conservative. They take their time, they check out the track, look for lines. When they come through the finish line, that first lap, though, they unleash the beast, and they're on the hammer. So, and that's why Hunter Hart usually, I mean, I think every race now he's been in the top 5 at the end of the first lap, but makes for an exciting
and you bring up
talk about.
Yeah, it does, and you bring up a good point, and it becomes for us a chance to watch and see and gauge Hunter and see whether or not he's able and how long he's able to hang on to those overall positions like that, and you know, we'll be able to recognize when that switch flips in Hunter and he's ready, I think, to make that step to XC1. Not that he couldn't be competitive now, but I think a little more time in that XC2 class chasing these guys from that second row might pay bigger dividends for him in the future.
Yeah, I guess this is his second year in XC2 now, but Hunter's obviously, I mean, it's very obvious at this point he's going to be a force to be reckoned with here very shortly. Not that he isn't already, but it's only going up from here for him. So definitely exciting to see him have such success and move up through the ranks like he has.
Hey, I do want to point out that we did have one other, one amateur rider, non-XC1 or XC2 rider in the top 20 overall at the end of the first lap. Little Ronnie Rush, who is not so little anymore, out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, your college-age 16 to 24-year-old leader. Look at that. Check out on screen. Mikey Wayne's chilling.
Mikey, come
Big
on,
Joe's.
man.
But lost my train of thought there for a second.
We were talking about Ronnie Rush.
Yeah. He's running in the 19th place overall. He got the whole shot in that College A class out there. And, man, that's a highly competitive class. There's no doubt in my mind. And seeing how aggressive they were in turn 2, bouncing off of each other and just fighting for position, you know, basically, that shows me how hungry of a class that is. And for Ronnie to be out, anybody to be out in front of that class is pretty impressive. And he's got a top 20 running overall right now, and that's even more so impressive, I think.
Yeah, another thing to take note of is the Vet A class. We always have really good racing in the Vet A class. It's there goes Walker through the woods right there, just after the FMF PowerPoint. But we always have great racing in that Vet A class because it's a lot of old pros in there.
Are you looking at it right now?
Yeah, we got Thomas Kuntz, known as AJ Kuntz, in the lead. Jeff Pickens, what is it, 0.6 seconds behind him?
Yeah.
So they always have a good battle.
Well, that's a much bigger margin than the one that Jared McClure won by.
Yeah, if you look at it that way, yeah. It sure is. But there comes Bryson Neal, Jared McClure, and Chris Borch heading up the FMF PowerPoint. Looks like did the rain?
I think it's
slowed down already.
Like I told you, it goes
just small showers, but you can tell there in the woods, dirt's a little darker. Definitely got a little bit of rain on the ground, but. Yeah, I mean, we got, you're looking at the radar now, a couple showers popping up here and there. Whether it hits us or not, who knows? But I don't think it's going to be bad.
I don't think we have a whole lot to worry about, just little things like that. And like we said, that's just basically like a water truck running through, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to hurt the track at all. Other than sections like this uphill right here that we saw, it's only going to make that worse.
I will say this. I was somewhat impressed after 3 starts. We had the youth start. We had the single seat start, the 10 o'clock start. Well, I guess it would have been after the pro start, 4 starts today. I noticed the first turn was blue grouping already.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
I noticed that a lot, even on the motocross track, because this is GNCC racing, so we don't till the track, we don't prep the track. And even out here on the motocross track, in the morning race, the 10 a.m. race, I was squealing going into the corners. It was like skirting a little bit, yeah. So the track's definitely getting hard. This is always been known to be like a really hard pack race, which I know the dirt bike riders complain about it a little bit, but makes for some good four-wheeler track.
It makes for some great racing. I mean, because it offers a whole different element to the racing, I think. I mean, you know, these guys, I mean, and the great thing about it is it's really cool because, I mean, we have some areas of loam here. And then we have the areas of hard pack. I mean, it kind of, and then they're not much, but a little bit of rocks and roots. I mean, there's a good variety of stuff here as far as an off-road track is concerned.
It really is. There's like a couple different sections of track here. It seems like, you know, you got one side of the motocross track, you got the other side, which are 2 different sections, and then over where the start is, which is actually across the road. is like a whole new track, which is what we're showing right now. You know, you got the mulch pile, you got really dry dirt over there. Over here, it's much wetter. And
I was watching a video from 2012 or 2014 of this mulch pile. It might have been even a little when it first came in. Doesn't even look like the same piece of racetrack. It's funny how much it's really changed. Hey, we got Mikey Wayne standing by in the pits with an update, and then we're going to update you on some of these amateur classes. What's going on, Mikey?
Just want to let you know, I'm down here in the Bryson Neal, the Hauser Racing pits, and I couldn't be happier. I'm extremely comfortable. They've got 2 more beanbag chairs if you guys want to join me. If we can get the RacerTV crew to bring the TV over here so we can keep it updated, this is where it's at. But no, let's talk racing. Walker Fowler, last we saw out in front. Bryson Neal, though, the focus on that guy as he came through these pits, he wants that win. He's going to really have to dig deep. We were kind of wondering if maybe this rain would hang on. It would kind of even the playing field, get that accordion effect that we always talk about. I don't know. The rain looks like it's moving out, but that's how things are standing down here in the pits. Guys, come on and join me.
Oh, we'd love to. We'll get everything packed up and head that way in just a few moments. I love those big Joe chairs. Always do my interviews with him down there as well. Hey, we're about 19 and a half minutes, or actually 19 minutes and 45 seconds now, I guess. Before we'll see our leaders check in, again, last check, it was Walker Fowler with a 47.6 second lead over Bryson Neal, the Bidwell Bullet. Jared McClure was running in the number 3 spot. 4 seconds behind Bryson Neal. Chris Borch another 2.5 seconds back in 4th, and Cole Richardson rounded out your top 5, 3.4 seconds back in that position. As we take a look at some of these other classes for you real quick, let's start with the College A class here. Actually, let's go ahead and look at the XC2 Pro-Am first, and then we'll go, because we haven't really talked about anybody but Hunter Hart in XC2 Pro-Am. And just to let you know, he had a 2-minute and 6-second lead over second place.
On the second lap, correct?
On the second lap.
Yeah, that's wild.
Drew Landers, who is nothing to sneeze at, my friends, running in the number 2 spot. Austin Abney, another fast cat, in 3rd aboard the 703. The 712, John Glotta Jr. from Waxhaw, North Carolina, in 4th. Ben Kowalewski, the 219 from Great Bend, Pennsylvania, in 5th. Wes Kinsley, 187 in 6th. He's out of Morgantown, West Virginia. Out of Ithaca, New York. Stevie Covert, the 23 in 7th. 8th place, the 31, Tanner Walker from Berlin, PA. 33, Brody Livingood out of Fulling Waters, West Virginia. 303, of Matt Lindell out of Muscatine, Iowa. That's an odd place to see Matt back in 10th place.
He drives a lot. Every race, I think, is like 8 hours plus, and most of them are like 15 hours plus. But fun fact for the day, the guy we were just chasing through the motocross track there, that's actually one of his main training partners, Sheep. Is what they call him, Josh Lynn. And,
oh, yeah.
That's where he owns a track.
He's one of the D6 OGs, isn't he?
He is. I think he's a D6 OG.
Hey, we're at the Monster Mile as we talk about, this isn't no D6 OG. This is a CRA OG for sure.
CRA National.
Yeah, there you go. And that is Walker Fowler on that WFR GBC Fly Racing factory backs Yamaha. Nearly a minute lead over the rest of the field, as we'll wait on the rest of those guys. Keep an eye on that. I want to check in with College A. Is Ronnie Rush, wow, 1 minute and 23 seconds lead over second place in that class. The 127, Matthew Blankenship out of Greenwood, Indiana. Eli Kiger, that Coastal Racing Waynesburg Yamaha from Waynesburg, PA, is running in 3rd. Joseph Yerkson, the 328 out of Champion, PA, is 4th. McCain Jennings, the 517 out of Algona, Iowa, is 5th. 6th place is Logan Weiser, the 85 from Ortona, PA. Joey Lambright out of East Palestine, Ohio, the 35 and 7th. The 413, Davis Brinson from Hendersonville, North Carolina, is 8th. Seth Wilson of Smithfield, Pennsylvania, the 501 and 9th. And 405, Levi Joy out of Rockport, West Virginia, rounds out your top 10.
Here we got second place. Looks like we got a new second place rider. It is Jared. Yep, Jared McClure into the number 2 spot. And they're hanging in there. I just did a timer here on my watch, and they're 52 seconds down, so they're staying consistent. And then we got Bryson Neal still in the number 3 spot, Chris in 4th, and Cole Richardson in 5th.
Well, very interesting line choices. Like you pointed out, they're trying to go to the extreme inside of that off-camera coming out of that creek to stay out of that big rut section there. And it'll be interesting to see over the next lap or two what that part of the course develops into, as we are into lap number 3 of a 4-lap race right now. We have the 2-lap board out as we take a look at this Junior A 22 plus class. And good to see this young man up front in this one, the Junior A 22-plus class leader from Millfield, Ohio. Literally, I'm telling you, within a quarter mile out this front gate, this kid lives. It is Levi Cohen. He, after 2 laps now, he is a minute and 19 seconds ahead of second place, the 401 of Josh Haney there in the Junior A class. Still waiting on third place to check in, but last check was Jordan Poplowski out of Shamokin, Pennsylvania. The 531 of Michael McAvoy out of Chester, West Virginia was 4th. 5th, the 508 of Dylan Taylor from Fairland, Indiana. 6th place, the 75, Jay Millwood from Cleveland, Georgia. 7th place, Eric Straub, the 83 from Tower City, Pennsylvania. 8th place, the 355, Nathan Owens from Waverly, West Virginia. 9th place, the 436, Jacob Scott from Vincent, Ohio. And 10th place, my good buddy from up in Marion, Ohio, where my announcing career began, in that shoebox of an arena they call the Marion Coliseum, the Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Luke Shepard rounds out your top 10. I just thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We need the info. We need to get it back. Can we get like a Tuesday toolbox on you? I mean,
I don't know, man. I would probably be too much for a Tuesday toolbox. It'd have to be like a 12-parter.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday toolbox.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, you know, it's really neat. I never knew Luke Shepard until I started doing he started doing ATV National Motocross Racing and GNCCs whenever I became acquainted with him. But 93 was, Marion, Ohio is where it all began. There's Hunter Hart making his way through the Monster Mile. This kid on a tear, over 2 minutes lead in this XC2 Pro-Am class. But main goals, mindset is, and I don't mean to say this in a bad way, but Hunter Hart, once he has the XC2 class at hand and is taking care of that situation and scenario, which sometimes is a little harder than others, he sets his mind on other things, and that is that front of the pack in the XC1 class, and that's why he's amassed that 2-minute-plus lead over the rest of the field like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely working his way towards the front. Definitely, you know, and we've seen it from everybody. We saw Walker winning overalls when he was in XC2. He moved to XC1, and he didn't win overalls right away. I mean, it took him a little bit to get the hang of it. So, gonna be tough to do for him, but it'd be cool to see him get up there sometime this year.
Well, just under 14 minutes left in this one. Walker Fowler leads Bryce Neal, Jerry McClure, Chris Bortz, and Cole Richardson, and GNCC Live continues after this.
The halfway point is here, and these riders have endured over an hour now of hard battling through the woods at extremely high heart rates, the type the average athlete couldn't even fathom for this level of distance. Can they stick with it to the end? Don't click that X. GNCC Live on RacerTV.com continues after this.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser.
Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best?
The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why I
only use
Cometic products in my engine.
The halfway point is here, and these
Are you ready to go? GNCC Racing!
Hello everyone, I am Chase at Rocky Mountain Atvmc. Now as riders ourselves here at Rocky Mountain, we are proud to support and sponsor the GNCC Racing Series. Now one program that we've always been known for is our Race Gas program, where every rider who pre-registers for a GNCC race receives a $20 gift card to Rocky Mountain Atvmc. And now for 2018, we've made it even better with our all-new digital delivery. Now, after pre-registering and being put on the fast track, instead of waiting for your gift card to arrive via mail, your $20 in race gas credit will be delivered directly to your Rocky Mountain Atvmc account in 1 to 3 weeks, which is just enough time for us to receive your pre-registration information and process it. You will also be notified via email when your race gas cash has arrived, and also what event you received it for and the expiration date of that credit. Now, if you don't already have a Rocky Mountain account, no problem. You'll be able to create one through the email that Rocky Mountain sends you. This new program will make it faster and easier for you to use your race gas cash, whether it's an online order or if you're calling in and ordering by phone. So don't wait. Get pre-registered today for an awesome experience at your next GNCC race and earn that free race gas cash. RockyMountain.ATVMC.com. Get ready.
And welcome back to GNCC Live from Millfield, Ohio and Sunday Creek Raceway for round 7 of the Amsoil GNCC Series. I'm Rodney Tomlin along with Landon Wolf. Mikey Wayne's out and about in the pits. And, of course, we are on lap 3 of a 4-lap race here for this Wiseco John Penton GNCC. Walker Fowler leading Bryson Neal, Jared McClure in 3rd, Chris Borge 4th, and Cole Richardson in 5th. And Hunter Hart back in the number 6 spot as we take a look at things. Last night, we started something brand new here in the GNCC Racing Nation, and it brought out some big names, including Charlie Mullins, former GNCC champion. You see Barry Hawk there chit-chatting with him. Lane McCormick was with us, as well as Talon Hawk right there. Barry Hawk's son was also involved in it. And that guy right there, is Handsome. I thought they were calling him Handsome. It's actually Hanson is his name. But anyway, Hanson gets off to a pretty good lead. Leon is his name, but I thought that I said Handsome, Leon Handsome. That's a heck of a name, but it's Hanson. And Leon, man, got off to a good start in this one. You see Charlie Mullins back there and Jason Raines as well, former GNCC pros. And and I believe that Charlie Mullins ended up with a flat tire, so we didn't see him placing so well in the overall. But you can see the Fantic Bikes is a mountain bicycle, but it is a pedal assist bicycle. It's an electric mountain bike is what we call an EMBT GNCC racing. And this is a new type of racing that we brought out. These bikes were used basically just to pedal the course to let these riders see what the course is like. And we joked around about saying one of these days we're going to be racing them, and then all of a sudden here we are racing them. And next year, Fantic Bicycles, as well as a few other sponsors, Bell Helmets and a few others are coming on board, and we're going to have a full-on national championship sanctioned by the American Motorcyclists Association when it comes to electric mountain bike racing right here in GNCC.
Yeah, the e-mountain bike racing has just really come a long way, and it's turned into this, which is really cool. Like, I think we had Charlie leading the overall at one point, which it's cool to see him back at GNCC racing after so long. And I think he was leading the overall, ended up getting a flat tire, and what was it?
Well, no, flat tire or not, but there's Hanson, Leon Hanson taking the win, and we had a chance to catch up with him after that race.
Here with our winner today in the e-bike race, the very first e-bike race, Leon Hanson, man. What did you think?
It was fun. I mean, I'm pretty stoked that they let me do this. As far as being out, I'm just at work. But no, I was pumped. I had a good time.
So, man, you do some enduro racing out on the West Coast, man. How does this, out here, not quite East Coast, but Midwest, Eastern United States, man, what does this compare to compared to out West?
There's no mud over there. Like yesterday was the first time I've ridden in mud, so that was a big difference.
So you're going to come back, we do it again?
Well, I'm here every weekend, so if the boss man lets me, sure.
All right, you heard that, boss man. You got to let Leon race, man. There's your winner today in the very first e-bike race, Leon Hanson. All right, here with a familiar face to RacerTV, Lane McCormick, man. You took second in the overall today, first in class.
Yeah, it felt good. I'm definitely surprised on how I finished. First lap, I was just staying behind first place in my class and paced myself, and then a few more laps I got into first and then just started pushing for an overall.
You did a heck of a job, man. You got some left in the tank for tomorrow and Sunday?
Yeah, I'll be resting tonight.
All right, Lane, get some rest, man. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on RacerTV with an overall tomorrow, right? All right, Lane McCormick right there, a second in today's overall. All right, here with Cody Taylor, our third place in the overall today, man. Cody Taylor, first of all, congratulations, a top 3 in the inaugural GNCC e-bike race, man. What'd you think?
Oh, man, it was a tough race. I
I've never rode an e-bike before. I definitely made a mistake coming in here and jumping on somebody's bike that I've never rode before. The bike was fighting me, I felt like, plus the mud out there. I'm not used to riding in that, but yeah, after 4 or 5 falls, I started getting the hang of the mud and just tried to finish the race. Man, it was tough out there, but I definitely need to come in more prepared next time now that I know what it's like. Yeah, it was still quite a bit of fun.
So you do some racing, obviously, outside of this down south, man. What do you do outside of what you did here today?
Yeah, back at home, I race regular mountain bikes with no electric motors in Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Arkansas and stuff. It was just a couple weekends ago. I did nationals out there in Arkansas, and we do that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fitness in there, and that's just kind of what I do. I've kind of moved out of the motorized sports for a little while, take a little break on that, and picked up the bikes. My wife, she rides with me and races sometimes as well. So I figured coming out here, I come out here with and ride co-pilot the side-by-sides regularly. So figured that'd give me something to do while I'm here.
And congratulations to Cody Taylor, whom I'm mistaken for Jason Raines. I saw Jason in an outfit nearly similar to that yesterday, and I thought that was him racing there last night, but not. It was Cody. So congratulations, Cody Taylor, who will be riding in the UTV with Cody Miller coming up a little later on. Let's take a look at some of our top 5s and some of our amateur classes. Here's our current top 5 here at the Wiseco John Penton GNCC as far as right now at an hour and 23 minutes into this race. Walker Fowler leading Bryson Neal. Jared McClure in the number 3 spot. Chris Borich is 4th. Cole Richardson rounding out your top 5 as we take a look at some of our other classes. Let's start with, well, we checked in with there's Walker Fowler already to the well, they tell me that Walker is coming to the mulch pile. They got me a little bit excited there for a second. So we'll be keeping an eye out for Walker. You do that. I want to check in with some of these other classes. We already talked about College A. Let's look into Junior A. Levi Cohen, we talked about that. Josh Haney, we were talking about that. He is 2nd place right now aboard the 401 from Upper Black Eddy, Pennsylvania. Michael McAvoy, the 531 out of Chester, West Virginia, is running 3rd. Nathan Owens, the 355 out of Waverly, West Virginia, is 4th. Eric Straub, the 83 from Tower City, Pennsylvania, rounds out your top 5 in the Junior A 22-plus class. We take a look at Vet A. A.J. Kuntz leading. I love this, and you never do see but this much of a gap between these guys. 2 seconds separating 1st and 2nd. A.J. Kuntz and Jeff Pickens, all the way back to the OG himself, the D6 OG, Josh Lim. What'd you say, Sheep?
Sheep. Yeah, they call him Sheep.
I don't know
how he got that name.
I have my idea. But anyway, 432 of Smoker PA's Josh Lynn back in the number 3 spot. Brad Whitehead, the 821 from Reading, Pennsylvania, in 4th in the Marlboro Land. The 63 of Todd Muscala out of Uniontown, PA, rounds out the top 5. At the multi-pile now, Walker Fowler. And look at the conditions of this thing now.
Yeah, it gets rougher as the day goes on. That multi-pile is just like the sand of Florida, except probably worse. The more they go through it, the worse it gets. But Walker Fowler, smooth, collected, just riding his own race. He's got about a lap and a mile left, and just needs to hold it together.
Wow, man, talk about doing what you set out to do. That's got to make you feel good because, I mean, we all have plans for our days, you know, and oftentimes little things happen, and Walker has them happen sometimes, and it seemed like last year there was nothing that could come and make Walker Fowler's day bad. Even
other than Johnny Gallagher.
Well, even that didn't even make it bad. He was happy for Johnny until the end of the year when he thought that was my only chance to have a perfect season.
Yep.
But even in the grand scheme of things, you know, for me it's exciting. I mean, I know everybody likes to see Walker win and they're all psyched up and happy. But I like to see him lose because it makes him angry and it makes the next race
makes him do this here.
Exactly. It makes it very interesting.
Here we got Jared McClure in the number 2 spot, holding on to it, coming into the mulch pile. It should be Bryson behind him. We haven't got him yet. Yep, Bryson Neal hanging in there. Chris Borich. We got a intense, was 4-way, now 3-way battle for the number 2 spot.
Well, they're dropping one by one, and that's little mistakes that come into play there. We'll pick back up with the Bet 30 Plus in our amateur checks in just a few moments. Right now, we're going back to our overalls. Leaders are due in less than a minute. There's the battle for second we're watching. Lane McCormick here going to join us in the studio for just a couple moments. Our youth race morning overall winner, and he took second in the e-mountain bike race there last night. Walker Fowler making his way through the pits. Not even a hesitation about thinking about stopping on this one. He has one thing in mind, and that is keep moving forward. And Walker Fowler making his way across the top of the moto track above the pro pits there. You see that is the actually motorcycle pro pits that he's coming above there and down that hill onto the motocross track here shortly. And that will be the closing and waning moments of lap number 3. We'll see a white flag coming out this time around for Walker Fowler as we get our first, what I would say, good look of these guys coming into a very beautifully laid out motocross facility which will actually play host to the Northeast Amateur or Youth Regional Qualifier next weekend right here at Sunday Creek Raceway. So the final step before Loretta Lynn's is going to be taking place in a week from now. This week we're doing GNCC racing, and Walker Fowler wrapping up lap number 3 here in mere moments while Bryson Neal, actually Jared McClure in second, Bryson Neal in third, Chris Borch in fourth, continued to jockey for position back there. Not sure what happened to Cole Richardson. He was only 3 seconds behind at the end of lap number 2, but he has fallen way back since that point. 47 seconds was the gap at the end of lap number 3. We'll watch with bated breath here to see where we end up at the end of this particular lap. Will Jared McClure be able to close any of that on Walker Fowler? And I'll tell you this, last lap around, Bryson Neal did take that lead down from about 52 seconds to just over 47 seconds. So we'll give him 5 seconds that he was able to gain on him last lap, which really in the grand scheme of things doesn't amount to much when you've got the type of lead that Walker Fowler currently has. So we check in now as they drop down to the white flag. Jared McClure 59 seconds behind Walker Fowler. Bryson Neal 3 seconds behind Jared McClure. And Chris Borch should be checking in, and he does, 1.4 seconds behind. Now, here's the thing. 28:54 lap time for Walker Fowler. I think that was faster than the lap before, as was Jared McClure's 29:02, a 29:09 for Bryson Neal, and 29:04 for Chris Borch. Oh, mercy. The rain's starting to come back down again. It had dried up, and as you can see out here on the moto track, it is going to slick up pretty quick, I'd say, especially as hard as that rain. It's going to be a quick one, I would imagine, but it's a heavy one coming down right now as we watch these riders roll through this finish line into a white flag last lap. I know a rider that went through this very same scenario earlier today. Lane McCormick, welcome back to RacerTV and GNCC Live, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be in here. Got the win today. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, another big win for you here in Millfield, Ohio. And, it's a big weekend for you. You did the first ever e-mountain bike race there last night. You got second overall, really?
Yep, got off to a great start, and I stayed in second in schoolboy and then got the lead for that, and then started going for the overall. And when I came through the finish, they said I was in second overall, and then I was so surprised with that.
Really? Now, how far off the lead were you? Do you know?
I'm not sure, but I was just pushing to go for the overall at that point.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, buddy. What about today? What was the track like? What was the competition like for you?
I got off to a really good start, got the whole shot, and led my own race and started pushing for the first 2 laps, and then was just cruising for the last 2 laps, and then Bryce caught up to me, and then we really started pushing it and got with the win, and the track was super nice. The first lap was iffy, but it was slick, and we got through it.
And get through it. That's what they're doing out here right now. The rain already starting to subside. So the course conditions, they were a little wet this morning, I guess, is what you're saying?
Yeah, the start of the race was super wet, and then it started tacking up on the last lap, and then it looked perfect for the 10 a.m.
Awesome. And so good memories coming from the John Penton GNCC this year, huh?
Yep, it's always good to get the win here.
It's always good to see you get wins as well, Lane. Congratulations to you, my friend. Good to see you back in the winner's circle, and I'm sure we'll see you back here at RacerTV.com and GNCC Live pretty soon, man.
Thank you.
All righty, that's Lane McCormick. He is our morning youth overall winner, and of course, second in last night's e-mountain bike racing, the EMBT That, of course, is the GNCC version of that, and EMTB. That's how the mountain bike. So anyway, GNCC Racing has a new partnership, and look at that. That's one of our other partnerships with the side-by-side racing. That's Walker Fowler's machine. He is going to be getting off the ATV and going straight into that car for the side-by-side race, which is slated to get underway around 4:30. I know we got a little late start on this afternoon's race, so it might be a little bit behind, but it'll be right around that 4:30 mark to get things up and rolling. As the rain goes down and it comes back up, it speeds back up, slows down, speeds back up. And still, even as heavy as the rain's falling right now, the rain seems to be the ground, at least in those dusty conditions and sections, seem to be sucking that rain right up. So, again, I don't think there's going to be a lot hurt by these passing showers. Hopefully that's what this one is and not going to be as big a sell as what it could be. But these hot, humid days like this, it's a traditional southeastern Ohio weather. You get these all the time.
Yeah, one thing to take note of, not only do we have a three-way battle for the number 2 spot, we have a three-way battle for the number 5 spot. Wesley Wolf has it right now. Cole Richardson hot on his heels. And then Josh Merritt, who started off a little bit back. He has closed in on Cole and Wesley. So,
wow.
A little bit of rain could really mix things up. And I'd like to say this is a passing shower, but it's kind of a long passing shower.
Well, just because it takes them a while. Some are slower than others. It's just like some people walk slower than others. These clouds move slower than others.
Yeah.
All
So.
right. Well, that's what it looked like. We could see it stick around. There's FMF PowerPoint. There's Walker Fowler. Look, you can see the rain starting to really take its toll on the track out in the woods now. The heavier rains that we've seen over the course of the last 5 minutes are already starting to collect in those hard-packed, slick areas. That's going to create some possible interesting situations and scenarios, especially to get some of those hard-packed turns. People are going to start spinning around. If one of these riders, these lead riders, comes up on a coagulation of riders.
Exactly, that's what I was getting ready to say. I know last race we said Walker had it, and it sure does look like Walker's got everything under control right now, but some things are just out of your control. You could come up to a jam up where there's 40 riders sitting in the way, and there's just no way around, and that's that right there is enough for the other guys to close right in. But there we're showing just a little shot. I think that's Pro Row. It's putting her down pretty good. It's raining pretty hard out there, so it may mix some things up here. That's for sure.
Well. Could we have ourselves a rather unexpected finish on the horizon? I don't know. We'll have to stick around to find out for sure. If you tuned out late last race, you got to be kicking yourself in the tail.
Minute and 10, I believe was that Jared? Yes, that was Jared. So Jared's still in the number 2 spot, Bryson Neal in the 3rd. I clocked a minute 10 at the FMF PowerPoint, so they're hanging in there. Look, there goes Chris Borch across the top of the hill. So alternate line, looking for that way around Bryson so he can get up on Jared. But Bryson ain't gonna let that happen just as easy.
It didn't look like that alternate line was necessarily any faster.
No, but sometimes you gotta try it.
You gotta take that risk.
You never know, and that's the thing. A lot of times, take an alternate line, and there could be a lapper in the way of the fast line, so it could all work out.
Senior A class, Mark Batson, one of our media all-star riders out of that senior 40-plus class. He and his brother Dale Batson out of Michigan, both riding for Media All-Stars, which is they still are a motocross race team. And I tell you, Mark Batson flying the flag proudly here in the senior A 40-plus class out of LaSalle, Michigan, with a 7-second lead over Brian Shaw out of Harrisville, Pennsylvania, the 828. 410 John Sousa from Warwick, Rhode Island is 3rd. 4th place Dale Batson out of Michigan, the 671. 386 Justin Kerr from Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, rounds out the top 5 in the senior A class. Taking a look next at the that would be college B class. What we got going on here?
Looks like these hills are getting slick. Just what we expected. This rain really, with this as blown off. They have all the dirt blown off. Throw a little bit of rain on there, it's like ice. So these uphill climbs make it tough. There's another guy stuck right there. So
yeah, and you'll see people will walk out there and you'll see their feet start to slip out from under them. I can almost guarantee that. Chase Allison, as we watch this right here, could get interesting. Watch this. FMF PowerPoint unfold with the leaders being through. That's one saving grace for those guys right now. That could actually maybe be a big factor in the overall win today if Walker were to get held up by one of these riders like that.
Yeah, there's a lot more hills like this out there. So
look at the roots that are exposed as well.
Imagine them wet.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm sure that the track out there, I know about maybe the 6-7 mile marker, I'm thinking there's a couple, it's short hills, it's nothing real long, but it's a couple little short jaunts up a steep hill, and it caused a lot of jam ups earlier this morning. So you never know. I mean, this rain has really put a whole new twist on this race. This guy's going to give the old FMF PowerPoint another shot, taking an alternate line, and come on, buddy.
Oh,
and he has made it.
It pays off as we turn our attention back to the College B, and Landon, keeping your eye on what's going on.
There goes Josh Merritt right there. Did
Yeah.
I miss? Hopefully we can get a shot of them coming back down the other side. Josh was in the 7th place spot.
Right.
Actually, no, I did see Cole come through. So,
okay.
Here we go. We're gonna wait for this battle for the number 5 spot. They should be coming through here. That's probably them right there. Maybe not. No, it's just Josh coming through again. So I'm guessing we missed Wesley and Cole there, but Josh putting in a good ride. He had a really, really great ride at the last race, one of his best so far, and looking for another one this weekend.
Well, you know, either that or maybe things have worked out in the favor of our rider out there. Now let's go ahead. Oh, I thought you were getting ready to say something.
No.
Okay. I still want to talk about these College B riders, so we're going to throw those guys out here real quick. 470, Chase Allen out of McClellantown, Pennsylvania, with after 2 laps, a 47-second lead. We got 320 Ben Wilson out of Forest Hill, Maryland, 47 seconds back. Jeremy Ladon, the 99, out of Glenshaw, Pennsylvania, in 3rd. 4th place, the 391, Hunter Harris from Trevorton, Pennsylvania. In 5th place, the 816, Cale Howard from Kingman, Indiana. And someone whispered in my ear, Blackwater, sentiments of Blackwater. And, you know, even though this is not as tough as Blackwater, it has its moments and its elements. And speaking of Blackwater, check this out right here. This is some of the old school Blackwater stuff, and this is what they raced in, the kind of mud bogs and stuff and rocks that they had to race in, creek crossings and everything. Landon, I think those motorcycles and ATVs are all older than you, my friend.
I think this video is older than me.
I believe you're absolutely
Yeah, my dad actually used to go to this, and that is not my dad, but he used to go to these. And I know, like, this race was meant to be the toughest race out there, and it sure does look like it was. But that's kind of how GNCC got started. And with rain like this and conditions, and we go to snowshoe here in a little bit, we definitely have the toughest racing out there, and I'm proud to say I'm a part of it.
And the toughest race fans, too. I mean, all the way back in that day, they were not afraid to get in there and get folks out.
No, I think they actually like it.
Oh.
Should have looked at the yellow flag there. He's got to slow down.
It was there for a reason.
Yeah, there we got a similarity. We got Walker coming through the creek section, and this guy also going through a creek section. Only difference is Walker did not go swimming. So Walker's still on rails. The rain ain't stopping him. He's moving forward like he has been all day, and maybe got about a half a lap left till he sees a checkered flag.
Just amazing how much.
That'll be him when he crosses the finish line.
Amazing how much the machines have changed, but really the elements haven't changed, and the clothing style. How much those have changed, but the elements are still the same. I mean, even though it's not a 93 Blackwater River crossing that we're seeing out here at John Penton, it has its challenges just like this.
No, absolutely. I mean, these tracks are not easy, and obviously the four-wheelers, the equipment has all gotten better, so stuff like this, Walker Fowler could probably navigate. These pro riders out here could probably navigate it a little bit better than these guys are. But I mean, these tracks that we race, some of them don't really have too many tough sections, but most of them have at least one good hard section. And
I gotta offer the question: would the majority of GNCC racers be able to finish a real Blackwater 100
on their bikes that they're racing now?
Yeah,
I think so.
You really think so?
I don't know. That's a tough call. There goes second place.
I think you're right. It'd just be tougher than what they realize, I think.
I think it would be. It would definitely be difficult, but Looks like we got, Bryson Neal did come through, correct?
Yeah, Bryson.
So we got Jared still in number 2 spot, Bryson Neal 3rd, Chris Borch 4th, still nose to tail, very close to nose to tail anyway, so it's exciting stuff.
Yes, it is.
I'm anxious to see how this one comes out. So now we're going to be waiting for the battle for 5th. Cole Rich, or it was Wesley in the number 5 spot, then Cole, and then Josh. We'll see who comes out in the number 5 spot now.
Wow. Sun's starting to come out. Rain has lightened up a little bit, but it is still a steady little drizzle out there. It's kind of deceiving looking at the racetrack as more water is still being added to it while water stands on it. That, again, you know, a little bit, not much of a big deal. This, not a huge deal, but it's certainly a lot more of a hindrance than what it would if it would have stopped raining 5 minutes ago. But regardless, it's GNCC. It's the John Penton GNCC, and if it wasn't a little bit tough and have some crazy elements to it, what good would it do for us to come here and celebrate off-road like this, right?
Exactly. Now, this is what these guys live for. There's a reason we picked GNCC Racing. We like the style of it, and that's what we came for. So this FMF hill, I'm sure, is giving some troubles right now. I'm sure it's like ice, and as you can see, it's giving a bunch of riders some issues. But
you need some help, buddy? I can't push you, but good luck. Here, you want to drink?
He's bringing him up. Oh, gosh.
That's a monster.
Yeah.
No, he said no. Good. No, man, I don't need that. What he needs to do is make it up.
Now he's got
FMF.
2.
Yeah, he needs to make it up to the FMF PowerPoint right now. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah, he's worried about that right now.
Like that, the guy with 2 beers in his hands telling the guy on the quad
how to do it.
That's real good. And
Yeah.
we always the advice is don't listen to the guy with the beer in his hand.
Yeah. the issue is you don't really have anybody listen to in some places.
I love GNCC, and I love the fact that we've got all these riders out on the course right now. One that we're watching right there, and some in the Junior B22 Plus class, including the 313 of Tyler Palmer from Lisbon, Ohio, which was a former stop of GNCC Racing back in the day. Crow Canyon, if I'm not mistaken. 21-second lead over Justin Miller, the 402 from Hughesville, Maryland. Emily Wise, well, the guys don't like getting beat by her on the hole shot. She almost had it again today, running in a 3rd place position. That's equally as impressive, I think. She got started about 3rd or 4th place. She's running 3rd place right now at Waynesburg, PA. About a minute down, but she has a 30-second lead over 4th place. The 403 of Alex Elioff out of Valley City, Ohio, and Blaze Taylor out of Fairland, Indiana rounds out your top 5.
There is the battle for the number 5 spot. Cole Richardson up to the number 5 spot. Wesley Wolf doing whatever he can to hold the pace, stick with him. That's going to be another good battle. And then Josh Merritt hanging in there. He's not giving up just yet. No goggles on, trying to turn away from the mud, hitting him in the eyeballs, but he ain't stopping now. Like I say, I think Monster Mile, I'm not really positive, but I think it's about 6-7 mile markers, so about halfway through. Got another half a lap. And do we have a jam up there in the creek?
No, I think it's just slow moving. One guy moving slowly through. So we'll have a little bit of a break back to our next wave of XC1 riders. Keep an eye out there, Landon, if you will, as I check with our Bet B30 Plus class, and Zach Phillips, the 74 out of Parsons, West Virginia, with a 1-minute 15-second lead over Aaron Hendershot, the 120 from Mansfield, Ohio. Sistersville, West Virginia, home to Chris Conklin, the 719, who is in the number 3 spot. 4th place is Corey Tribalock, the 305 from Niles, Ohio. And Elkins, West Virginia, home to Yamaha rider 721, Jared Little, who rounds out the top 5 in the Bet B30 Plus class. The senior B class, Ed King, the 361 from Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, after 2, leading that one 1 minute and 23 seconds over Peter Dandria out of Uniontown, PA, the 292 machine. The 79, Lyle Morrison from North Attleboro, Massachusetts, is 3rd. 918, Jeff Harvey from West Union, West Virginia, in 4th. And 5th place, Jamie Bonner, the 537 from Harmon, West by God, Virginia. And that is, my friends, your top 5, at least, in all of our amateur classes. We've kind of checked in after 2 in all these classes, and that's the way the stage is set in that one. After 3 and working on 4 and about 10 minutes from checkers, Walker Fowler with a minute lead.
Hunter Hart coming through the Monster Mile right now, hanging on to the lead in the Ecker XC2 Pro-Am class. Him and Marty Christopherson been having a good battle all day. Marty Christopherson's in the pro class, but they've been running together neck and neck. They actually live real close to each other. They come from the same area, so good racing out of those 2 today.
Al Fowler and McClure and Neal and Borich still running your top 4. Like you said, that gap back to fifth place. That's about a 2-minute gap back to that battle for fifth place position.
Yep.
And it'll be interesting to see that. Our current top 5 once again is Walker Fowler, Jared McClure, Bryson Neal, Chris Borich, and Wesley Wolf.
It's actually Cole in the number 5 spot now. Cole has now slipped by Wesley as of right now.
That was at the end of lap 3. So
yes.
Now that we've changed out on the course, it is Cole Richardson. Man, look at that beautiful shot of Sunday Creek Raceway. Like we said, the full-on moto track will be used in 1 week as we will make the return for the amateur racing and youth racing that will be taking place here. The regional qualifiers will be coming to town. We hope to see you folks out here for that. Right now, Fowler, McClure, Neal, 1, 2, and 3. How's it going to finish out? Stick around. GNCC Live continues after this.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser.
Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best?
The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why
I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
for those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? Amsoil's Signature Series Synthetic Motor Oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. Amsoil also offers a full family of ATV, UTV lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. Amsoil, devoted to protection.
What is your passion? Hitting the perfect line, finding the perfect trail, routing the perfect adventure, or just living and breathing the moto life? Do you feel pride for a job well done after tackling a late night in the shop? Do you enjoy time spent with friends and family in the great outdoors? Spanning over 3 decades, one name has taken the lead for supplying the best powersport parts, accessories, and apparel to fuel your passion. One name that knows it goes beyond getting you the best prices, quickest shipping, or largest selection. One name that builds and innovates for our industry. One name that teaches, helps, and supports our fellow riders, racers, and organizations.
Oil Pro Motocross returns to the legendary High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania for the 42nd annual Red Bull High Point National on Saturday, June 16th, located just 5 miles north of Morgantown off I-79 exit 1. Be trackside when the dirt flies. Go to highpointmx.com. Feel the roar of speed-only motocross ring. The races start at 1 p.m. Saturday, June 16th at High Point Raceway. Visit highpointmx.com and we'll see you at the races June 16th.
The Amsoil GNCC series on RacerTV is brought to you in part by Amsoil, the first in synthetics, Rocky Mountain ATVMC, get ready, and Monster Energy, unleash the beast.
And welcome back to GNCC Live as we say hello to Taylor, who is our WXC women's two-wheel champion right there, and she's out biking the trail right now. And this guy right here's got her on full-on reverse back and down the hill. That's right.
Boy.
We're racing GNCC backwards these days.
Yeah, this hill, I tell you, it's giving people some troubles today, and I don't know if he's going to make it this time either.
Well, I'll tell you this, the rain has stopped, Landon, and you mentioned earlier you'd like to see some rain to cool things off, and I said, well, all it's going to do is make things even hotter in the end, and you've been talking and saying, man, it's hot, man, it's hot. And yes, in the last 5 minutes, the temperature has seems like doubled. It hasn't, but it has gone up. Humidity level has certainly risen, and these last few minutes of GNCC racing are going to be rather interesting. Let's take a look at some highlights from last year, what took place here at the Wiseco John Penton GNCC. Well, a year ago, Walker Fowler was trying, well, at this point, had missed the perfect season, but was trying to go 12 out of 13 rounds of racing. And to get things kicked off here, it looked like Mcgill, I think, actually got the whole shot early on in that day with Walker right behind him, Landon. And we had a good battle starting out, and it looked like, as we traditionally do in GNCC ATV racing.
Yeah, as you can see, I think we had similar conditions here last year. Really good track, a little bit of water down in the creeks. This is the race where Walker got the vine stuck in his front A-arm. Right there he is, right there's the actual shot of it, and was back with the XC2 guys and actually came back for the win.
And of course, with that, I mean, you would almost have to think all those riders going by Walker Fowler behind the 8-ball, that would be loss number 2 in 2017 for him. And Chris Borch may be on his way to finally capping off win number 74 to put yet another record in the history books. But as the day wore on, things didn't turn out quite that way. Walker Fowler, as he always does, my friends, put his head down, dug out of the hole that he is so capable of digging out of whenever the chips are down like they are, and he battled it out with these guys. I mean, look at the speeds that these guys were racing at late in the race, and Walker Fowler was still not only able to match, but best those speeds, track these guys down, and make the pass to come away with the win. As you can see, the course conditions, like you said, was a little bit not rough and gnarly, a little bit muddy in some sections like that, but all in all, good racetrack last year too.
Yeah, it made for some really good racing. I mean, I'd say this was one of Walker's best races, honestly, to dig himself out of a hole like that and come back. It was quite a day of racing.
At the checkers, Walker Fowler took the win. Chris Borch took second. Adam Mcgill was your third place finisher here at the Wiseco John Penton GNCC in 2017. And now here at the 2018 GNCC, Wiseco John Penton GNCC, conditions, the track, sunshine, starting to look good. And you want to watch this one on NBC Sports, be sure and check us out on the NBC Sports Network. June 23rd, that's when this race will air. June 23rd, check your local listings for times for the Wiseco John Penton GNCC on NBC Sports.
They should be coming into this 11-mile marker, which is where the mulch pile is any minute now. We're real close to that. Walker Fowler, what's he got, 2 miles left?
Yeah, 2 miles to checkers for Walker Fowler. And, you know, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, and you can't count those chickens before they hatch. But I'll say this is an egg that looks like it's about ready to crack for sure, there's no doubt. And even though it was happening last race, I mean, there were a lot of unknown elements and variables. We even talked about the possibility of these guys running out of gas because of the longer race and so forth. And believe it or not, that's the way it worked out. It just blew me away. Don't think we have anything to worry about like that today, though.
No, I don't think so. We're at a 4-lap race, which means we have 30-minute lap times. So they literally pitted directly in the middle of the race. So, and they can certainly make it an hour on each side. So they're good to go. I don't think we're going to have any issues with fuel.
Interesting fact from the X Factor. Walker Fowler says in general he burns a tank of fuel in about an hour and 30 minutes. He said he burned a tank of fuel in an hour and 8 minutes there at the last race.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. That's really crazy. That's odd how that happens. Just track conditions and speed of the track changes everything.
Yep, and today he has been in total control as we work our way toward the finish line region and the final moments of the ATV racing here in the Wiseco John Penton GNCC. Walker Fowler getting the whole shot earlier today. At the end of the first lap, hadn't even made it to the end of the first lap, Landon, we saw a 48-second lead. We were at 53 seconds, nearly 54 seconds when those riders checked in at the finish line. Deficit from first to that battle for second place.
Yeah, this is what Walker likes to do when he comes to the races. In these last, 2 races? 2 races now, I believe. He hasn't been able to do that, and he came here clearly prepared. His team was ready. Bike was ready. He was ready, and so far, he's done exactly what he's wanted to do. He's led from wire to wire, and like I say, we just got maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles left.
taking some looks at the Atvmc PowerPoint region again, as we may get a chance to see some leaders coming through there. We're an hour and 56 minutes nearly into the race right now, so that's going to put us right at that 2-hour mark, which we were projecting for the conclusion of this. I think you had it figured at about 157.5 to 158 for Walker Fowler to check in, and everybody else just past the 2-hour minute mark. We'll see how close to right you are there, my friend, and wouldn't surprise me if you aren't pretty close to dead on. As we are an hour, like we said, 56 minutes into this race, working on an hour and 57. And there's
right
Walker.
now.
Yep, Walker Fowler making his way into that Wiseco.
No goggles.
Pile. No goggles, and no need for goggles. He's got a free and clear racetrack ahead of him. I'm sure he got into some mud of his own out there, but look at that. He is all by himself headed to the finish line.
I'm sure he's pumped to be back where he wanted to be, where he knows he can be, and just about a mile left, not hardly any at all, and just needs to ride smooth on into the finish line. But I tell you what, not the same scenario for the battle for the number 2 spot or the number 5 spot. We got some really good racing going on behind Walker. We also have some good racing going on at Walker because he's having one heck of a race out there today. But anxious to see where everybody else ends up here, and we should see them here maybe in a minute, or not even a minute now, in the mulch pile.
Well, we're due in with Walker Fowler at any moment here, approaching the finish line checkers, as again a wire-to-wire hole shot for him, and pretty much checked out from that point on. The real battle has been back in the second place position. We saw Hunter Hart at one point in this race up to a second place overall. He has dropped now to 8th place overall, but still leading the XC2 Pro-Am class by nearly 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 52 seconds over Austin Abney, or excuse me, over Drew Landers. Drew Landers, wait a minute. 2 minutes and 10 seconds, that's what it is. I'm trying to find his name there, but he's in 10th place overall as well, still at 2 minutes back, so that goes to show you Drew Landers is pretty quick as well in that XC2 class, and Austin Abney is 11th behind him, only 1.3 seconds back. So good battles going on there for second in the XC2 Pro-Am class, as it was in the XC1, and the front leaders, Hunter Hart in XC2, Walker Fowler in XC1, on rails right now and headed to checkers, and we are an hour and 58.5 minutes into this race now, and Walker Fowler should be dropping down onto the motocross track here in mere moments to take that basic victory lap on this Sunday Creek Raceway moto track itself and get himself ready to go for the big UTV race that's coming up here in just a little bit. Now, Landon, are you going to be riding in the UTV?
I am. I'm just riding. I'm not a driver. Walker's actually a driver, so he's got to be beat after something like this. He goes out here and gives it all he has. Here he comes dropping down on the motocross track.
He don't look a bit beat to me. That guy looks like he just found another can of whoop butt, if you know what I mean, and he would unleash it if he had a little extra time. Yeah, if he had to it, if he had time, he'd probably do another butt whooping on these boys just to show him he could do it. But here we go.
He's an impressive GNCC racer, that's for sure. Walker is a true champion that has really shown incredible speed over the last couple of years.
Incredible speed, incredible fortitude, incredible heart and desire. And that's what it takes to be a champion. And Walker Fowler is exactly that, on his way to his 4th title and another win here in the soils of Ohio as Walker Fowler takes the Wiseco John Penton GNCC.
What a ride for my man, Walker Fowler. I mean, exactly what he wanted to do. Like we've always said, Walker likes to get the whole shot, take off. Look at this, look at this. How about it? He's pumped on that one. He's pumped to be back where he wants to be.
2 weeks ago, about this time in the race.
Get him.
2 weeks ago, he was walking away so mad, so frustrated that he could probably have blown up at that particular point. A few minutes later, we saw the true sportsmanship and the true champion shine through as he made his way back over to the podium, explaining his circumstance and situation, and a true champion as he is here today.
That he is. What a ride for him. And like you said, I mean, he definitely was angry after what happened to him last race, but got on social media afterward, cleared everything up. Definitely a true sportsman. But here we got, is this the battle for second?
Yes, it is. I believe so.
Is that a...
Well, it should be.
Is that, no. Yeah, it is. That's Chris Borch.
Yeah, Borch is up to second.
Borch into the number 2 spot. Jared McClure third, and Bryson Neal fourth as of right now. Got a couple more corners left. How about Borch?
Yeah,
he was in fourth, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. And he Borched him, but it was only for second place.
It's still a Borch.
It's still a Borch. I don't care how you say it. Last lap pass like that, he pulls out all the stops, and look at that. Chris, you know, even though these guys are a couple minutes back, you have to say that they've had a great battle amongst themselves. Chris Borch takes second place here behind Walker Fowler. Jared McClure, the sneaky snake, will take third, 1.3 seconds back. Wow, what a heartbreaker for Bryson Neal, who had such high hopes today. He was only 2 seconds behind McClure, but in a battle like that, I mean, it's a roll of the dice whenever you come around here in these waning and closing moments. I know Bryson wanted to win here in Ohio today. Didn't get it, didn't get the podium, but that's inspiration, I think, for 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, what a race out of those 3 guys. I mean, mixing it up all day long, battling, bumping into each other, giving it everything they have. Across the finish line, all shake hands, say, let's do it again in 2 weeks.
And that they will, my friends, as our next round of GNCC racing will be taking us where?
Odessa, New York for the Tomahawk.
That's right.
Fairly new GNCC. I think it might be our 3rd or 4th year.
I think it's our 3rd year here, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a very storied, short romance that we've had with that place so far. A lot of great stories coming out of that one. I'm sure this year is not going to be any different.
I'm sure it won't. Every year we got good racing. I mean, it seems like we got good racing all over the place, but what a great track up there. So if you're in the area or want to go GNCC racing after watching stuff like this, head on up to Odessa, New York.
Well, Jared McClure taking the 3rd place position. Look at the mud on the bodies, on the helmet, and all the equipment. Chris Borch giving us the thumbs up there.
He's pumped about that one.
Yes, he is.
I think he was 4th. If not, he was definitely 3rd on the last lap there and made his way into the number 2 spot.
Well, you know, it's battles like this that I think inspire Chris. And though Walker seems to be on a level right now that's untouchable, we know that he is somewhat touchable at times. Chris realizes that too. So now that Chris is getting those race legs back and getting that, those passes like that in the last lap, he's going to want to start doing that for the wins here soon. And win 74 could be just around the corner, but he's got to beat that guy right there who is quickly coming up on some of the records that he, Barry Hawk, and a few other guys are holding as far as overall wins are concerned.
Yeah, Chris has been coming on strong here lately, but that Walker Fowler, I mean, he's on fire. The man knows how to ride a four-wheeler. It's as plain as that.
That is it. He got on fire, caught on fire a few years ago, and
he's still burning.
He's still burning. I mean, he's like magnesium, man. He will not burn out. He just keeps getting brighter and brighter and brighter.
Yeah. What a ride! It's he's cleaning himself up. Gotta look good for the camera. What a ride. I mean,
I mean, look at Walker's bike even. I mean, he's covered in mud as well.
It clearly got pretty muddy out there.
That little rain shower got gnarly out there.
Yeah, it sure did. I mean, they are covered up. So clearly made for some slick conditions, too, as we see Walker lost control and did some donuts after the finish line.
Oh, that was calculated stuff
I think
right
that was calculated.
I mean, the way he did it, that was an impressive donut.
He's even a good stunt man.
He is. Yeah. So I imagine that Danny's got his Yamaha blues on today.
I'm sure.
He's got his own Blue Crew.
Yeah.
What do you call those? Underoos.
Yes.
Underoos. Yeah, that's what we called them when I was a kid.
There you call it. Yeah, I mean, what a team effort out of those guys. I mean, they all work so hard for this, and they get what they work for.
They do, and you look at it and you say, team, I only see just a couple people around in the mornings, but what you don't realize is the people that come out in full force to help and make sure that point lines for Walker, help him in situations where he might get hung up. And not only him, but other riders have the exact same thing going on out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, of course, with that, we're going to let you get on out of here because I know you got to go get in your fire suit for the side-by-side racing land. And just want to say thanks for all the help again here today. And
thank you guys for having us.
Insightful information and keeping up to date with what's going on in the racing. And maybe we'll see you up on the podium with Kyle here. Or is it Kyle you're right?
Kyle, yep. If not, we're just going to assume I'll see you up there. But if not, I'll see you in Odessa at the Tomahawk.
All righty, sounds good. That's Landon Wolf, OLW. One of our GNCC 4x4 pro racers, former XC1 pro class rider, now part-time racer, or full-time racer, part-time RacerTV color analyst, and not only analyst, but just expert, man. I mean, guy knows so much about GNCC racing, and so happy to be able to have him on board with us as right now we're watching as this overall continues to stack up. Here's the way we're looking at it. Again, Fowler, Borch, and McClory, top 3. Bryson Neal in 4th. Cole Richardson checked in 3 minutes and 11 seconds. He was right in the thick of things for a good long time, but checked in 5th place overall, 3 minutes and 11 seconds back. Wesley Wolf just 6 seconds behind him in 6th. Josh Merritt checks in the number 7 position with 4 laps complete. Marty Christopherson, 1 minute 27 seconds back in the 8th place position. Then it's Hunter Hart. We're waiting on him to check in. If Hart checks in, he'll take the win and likely a top 10 overall with Drew Landers about 2 minutes and 10 seconds behind him in 2nd. Austin Abney in 3rd is currently 11th place overall, so it's 9, 10, and 11 for 1, 2, and 3 in the XC2 Pro-Am class right now. We're checking back on the race course and checking in with some of these other great riders and classes that are battling their way here toward the finish line. As we said, race fans will be back on RacerTV.com through live stream about 4:30ish. And it may go closer to 5 today, but just be in that area because we had a little bit late start here today for the four-wheel action. And we'll get that side-by-side racing underway here pretty soon. And Chuck LeMaster will be joining me in studio, of course, and we should have ourselves a great and amazing race. We saw the single seats this morning, only about 3 points separating the top 4 riders, and big mix-up and jumble up in that one. That one was pretty exciting. And same thing with the XC1 UTV and XC2. These guys have seen a lot of jumbles ups and a lot of crazy twists to the whole scenario and scene. And that right there has also got the championship points race in a little bit of a uproar. Some guys far behind, while other guys a little further ahead than what they expected to be at this point. So big things coming up, UTV. Right now, we are headed down to the finish line for our Wiseco John Penton GNCC winner with Walker Fowler and Mikey Waynes.
For a change.
Well, man, talk to us about this, John Penton. The thing that stood out to me was the end of the race. You come through that finish line. I don't know if the cameras were able to pick it up because you're covered in so much mud, but I see you put your hand over your mouth like, shh, shh, I'm still here.
Just staying quiet. That's the key. Let the riding do the talking. We've just had so many things out of our control this year that it is what it is, but that first lap I did what I needed to do and just hung out. That's the way the rest of those other 6 races should have been. These guys are riding good this year. There's no doubt about that. Everyone's picked it up, and I'm not taking anything away from them. That last lap, honestly, with the cushion that I did have, I backed it down, and then I kind of got to about the 5 or 6, and I'm like, man, I hope I didn't go too slow because I know these guys are just as hungry as I am, and they're still in the thick of things. And that's the difference between this season and last. You know, the points got so spread out that everyone gave up, and, man, the wins were just coming so easy. This year, everyone's in the thick of things. Confidence is still up for the rest of the riders, and they're making it tough on me. But, man, we got off to a killer start today. That thing lit up, and I had to feather the clutch, and I looked over. I was probably about 6th or 7th, but everyone pushed wide. And, you know, I just, goodness, I stuck to the inside. There's a GBC Groundbuster 3 rear tires. Man, they just hooked up straight to that whole shot line, and I was like, okay, check number 1 out of 3 for the day's done. Now you just have to get the gap. We got that the first lap, checked it off, and I was like, now just get her to the finish line. And I got to tell you, when that rain started coming down the last lap, I got nervous. And around the between the 8 and the 9 mile marker, it was a new section. It was awesome to have a new section here at the John Penton. We've been here for like, what, 77 years? Yeah. Johnny was still racing then too. But, you know, we got into that new section. It was probably almost a mile's worth, and it was fresh topsoil. And I got there, and there had to be 40 or 50 quads sitting there, and everyone knew it was me when I rolled up, and they did the best that they could to get out of the way, but a lot of them were stuck and hung up on each other, and I just took my goggles off, took a deep breath, thought about Steel Creek, and I just started working my way through the guys, and, man, it's a pretty good little incline to get out of it, and I was like, that's the checkered flag at the top of the hill. Figure out how to get to it. If you can get up this, it's over. And it took me probably a minute to get up the thing, but I finally had bounced off enough people and trees and did some Fred Flintstone to get up it, and I got to the top, took a breath, I went back to the charge because I knew I had sat there for probably 3 or 4 minutes, and I knew that Boric and McClure and Bryson and all those guys are going to be at the bottom of the hill. Probably watched and saw what I did and trying to do the same. So just kept it on the trail, man. That was the key. Don't hit a tree. Just keep forward momentum because it got so slick. But man, I just want to give the glory to God first and foremost. That's the most important thing. He's been with us this whole journey, and that means more than victories or anything. And my whole family, Mark Dottman, like I said, my mom, my dad, my sister, everyone that watches, my grandma's here. They just do such a. They just, after a couple of bad races, I get down on myself, and they always believe in me, and that's what it takes. It's still a family effort. Definitely all the Pipers, my beautiful girlfriend Elisa. Thank you for watching, all of them. I know probably a little sunny and warm weather that they're enjoying today, but I was with them all winter, and they got me into shape and got my head where I needed to be. Definitely the whole Yamaha Fly Racing, all the guys that fly. GBC Motorsports, man, this Yamaha was just incredible today. FMF, Fox, Hinson, LSR, Toby Reed at Moto Experts. We got this thing so dialed in between that and the webcams. Fuel Customs intake, this thing's just on rails. It's so sick. SSI decals, Maxima Gold Speed, Fast, Alpine Star boots, GYTR tire balls. That's a huge key to our program. Thank you, Mark. Cometic gasket, Fuel Customs, Moto Seat anti-gravity batteries, DP brakes, D&V trucking, ODI, VP, I think I already said them, but VP fuel is pretty important. IMS Scott Vortex Atlas neck braces. This thing is a lifesaver for sure. CV4 Waynesburg Intense Fab, Specialized bicycles, helping us get around that track pre-riding. Gabe Phillips with Grenade Coatings, getting the powder coat looking good. My man Paul Turner, all these awesome fans, and man, I'm pumped to be back.
Walker Fowler, welcome back.
All right, congratulations to Walker Fowler. Did you say Gabraham Phillips is doing powder coating now? Good to hear your name still in the industry, Gabe. And, wow, what a day for Walker. And, he mentioned that he was held up for about 3 to 4 minutes on that hillside over there. If you looked at lap times, reflect that as well. We were just under the 29-minute mark at 28-something for Walker. And a few of the guys up front, they were right around that 28, 29-minute mark. 32-minute lap times plus is what we saw on the final lap. So everybody got hung up. The whole race slowed down on that last lap of racing. So Walker was sweating bullets, obviously for, well, I don't want to say nothing because he knows as well as I do it don't take much. One little miscue out there and the whole race day can turn around on you, but not today. Walker Fowler keeps it moving forward and, of course, crossing the checker flag finish line for the win. And, of course, another step forward and closer to a 4th championship title here in GNCC Racing. And, of course, as you can see, the sunshine's starting to rain down. That means it's going to be a hot one for our UTV race coming up here in a few moments. Do want to take this time to say thanks to all the Racer staff, RacerTV staff, for once again going above and beyond and giving us a great show with the great shots. I know you had some tough situations to try to work through with the thick, heavy leaves and the terrain and everything, but our technical crew on GNCC's RacerTV.com, good job on another well-planned show, and looking forward to what tomorrow brings as well. So with that, I believe we may be close to getting ready to wrap things up. Not sure if we're going to check in with Chris Boric and Jared McClure. And as soon as Mikey gets those guys lined up, we'll get those guys dialed in and find out how that second place battle took place and how Chris Boric those boys for the number 2 position. And obviously it's something that we haven't had a chance to talk about very much. And though it wasn't for the win, it was a pretty exciting move once again on the final lap of racing for our former and 6-time GNCC ATV champion. So we talk about UTVs here today shortly coming up. We also want to remind you that coming up tomorrow, about 1 o'clock, we will be getting underway with streaming live from here in Millfield, Ohio. And, of course, Chris Boric standing by with Mikey Waynes in the winner's circle.
Thanks, guys. Got Chris Boric down here, man. A second-place finish after being back there, I believe, in 4th place, man, able to work their way up.
Yeah, for sure. We were sitting 4th there, lost my goggles there in the last lap. It got pretty gnarly. Couldn't hang on. Just tried to hold on, tried not to pull my hands off the bike at all. and I seen Jared and Bryson. Jared was second, Bryson was third. Jared got kind of held up in a bottleneck. I was able to wiggle my way through with Bryson, and Bryson got stuck on a hill at the, I don't even know where it was, probably 9-mile marker. So I was able to get by him and just try to put the hammer down from there and just stay smooth and smart. Corners were super slippery, but I have to give it up to Max's tires. They hooked up great and got me to the finish line, and ultimately second, but not where we want to be, but we'll keep working.
There you go. Congratulations. That's Chris Boric, your second place finisher today in the XC1.
Oh, I love that. That's got to be the quote. Not where we want to be, but we're going to keep working. And that sounds good coming from a former and 6-time GNCC champion, which some people oftentimes have said, I don't know if Chris has got the heart and will and desire to make it happen anymore or not. I'm not one of those. I believe that he does, and I believe it's just a matter of time, my friends, that it's going to happen. And this guy right here that we're going to be talking to next, he knows it can happen. He saw himself take a win just a couple of weeks ago at the X Factor GNCC, and we're talking about our third-place overall finisher, Jared McClure, who's standing by with Mikey Waynes.
Well, Jared, coming off the win last round, coming in here, I know expectations got to be high for you. So what's the mindset right now coming away with a third?
Yeah, I came into this race feeling really good. Didn't get the start I wanted. I don't know, I screwed up on the start there. I think I hit the throttle too soon. But worked my way up into the top 5 there, and I just was trying to get around, made a couple good passes, good clean passes, and you know, they're going on that last lap. When that rain broke out, it got wild. I was up into second. I had a nice little cushion. I felt good. The bike was working awesome. The Elka suspension, Texera components they were dialed here today. I felt real good. I just wish I could have been with Walker sooner. Was able to have a nice little gap on that last lap. Was kind of taking it easy because it got so slick, working the edges, trying to find some good dirt, and just came up on the hill over here. I think we all had to deal with it. There was lappers everywhere, and I tried a line, got stuck, and Bryson and Chris both got by me. I was able to get going relatively quick, got right behind him again, and then Bryson got stuck, so Chris and I got by him. Then I tried to pass Chris, hit a tree. Bryson got back by me. So, I mean, man, Bryson's GoPro, if it wasn't too muddy, should be pretty wild. And then I was able to get by Bryson in the field section over here. Almost was able to get around Chris, but he got some traction and just took off. So I'm happy with third. I gained some points on Bryson. You know, I would have liked to. In my mind, I thought I should have had second. You know, I had that gap, and I was like, all right, cool, I'll be up in the second in points. I was a little bummed at what happened, but, you know, that's racing. We all had to deal with lappers out there, and it was fun. I had a blast, and just want to thank all the guys that helped me out.
There we go. Jared McClure, your third-place finisher today.
Well, congratulations to Jared McClure, and, of course, those guys are going to be going over for a local podium that they'll be doing here for the Race Fans Trackside today. And, of course, with that, that's going to wrap up this race day. As we said a few moments ago, my hat's off to the technical crew here at RacerTV.com on another great show preparation and getting things done. And also with my partners here, of course, talking about Mikey Waynes and Landon Wolf. It's been a great day of racing. And stick around. We'll be back with UTV Racing coming up here in a few moments. I'm Rodney Tomlin. Have a great day, everybody.